Due to the ignorance of our host, parental discretion is advised.
This episode is brought to you by Happiest Cbd. You may find yourself asking, what is CBD? Well, CBD is an all-natural ingredient taken from the hemp plant. Contrary to some belief, CBD does not cause any euphoria or intoxication. In fact, CBD is believed to have many health benefits, from physical pain, inflammation, anxiety, and sleep. The list goes on and on.
But with so many CBD companies out there, it's hard to trust the good from the bad. But fear not, your friends at the other side of the Beehive are proud to partner with Happiest Cbd. Happiest Cbd is your #1 place to go from premium CBD that won't break the bank. Their broad spectrum CBD oil is made simple, sourced from local organic farms and rigorously tested to provide you the highest quality products on the market. Happiest CBD contains no THC, which means their products are completely workplace safe.
Happiest CBD have something for everyone, including broad spectrum CBD drops, roll-on CBD freeze, and CBD sleep aid. Head on over to happiestmed.com. That's HEPIUSMED.com to pick up your premium CBD products today. For all the other side of the Beehive listeners, get 10% off when you use promo code Beehive at checkout.
Happiestmed.com, promo code Beehive, and tell them that the boys from the other side of the Beehive sent you.
Peace!
Now is when everybody stays quiet. Now I don't have an intro. We can just
So,
talk
Dr. Pepper.
So Dr. It's been well documented in this podcast. Fuck Dr. Pepper.
What?
Yeah.
All right.
Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb, root beer.
All brands.
No,
root beer?
Why are you casting root beer with
Hot
those?
garbage.
Root beer tastes like mouthwash. Straight up, it tastes like mouthwash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like mouthwash.
So does Dr. Pepper.
Carbonated.
Here's the thing. If I'm gonna drink mouthwash, I'm gonna drink real mouthwash because it's at least alcoholic. So
Okay.
How can you like that?
How can I like? Wait, mouthwash, root beer, Dr. Pepper. What are we? I'm lost now. I'm out of context.
I can't stand that. We just
What about cola? You in for Coke? Like
Coke?
by which I mean a cola.
Pepsi even.
Yo, you know what's so funny? I had so for the longest time, basically ever since I got married, the wife has gotten me used to Diet Coke. Mm-hmm. And last week, I think I went to this place when they sell pizzas. That are warm and made. You know what I mean?
Okay. One of those places.
Yeah. So I was looking for a Diet Coke, and then. By the way, it's so funny that I'm not saying the pizza place, but I'm saying Diet Coke name. This is whatever. This podcast is all over the place.
Sponsored.
But so I went and I'm looking for the Diet Coke, and they only have Pepsi, and Diet Pepsi is so very disgusting. So I'm like, let's just give me a regular Pepsi. And then I go home and then I drank it, and it's like someone pissed a rainbow in my mouth. It is so much sugar.
It's yeah.
I was like,
right.
oh, and I'm talking about years that I haven't drank any other than beer or like flavored beer or Diet Coke. And then Pepsi is like, oh.
It's so sugary.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
But it's
gnarly.
still better than Dr. Pepper.
Damn.
Hey, the fellas from Advent Horizon are here. And I've been wanting to get you guys in forever.
True.
But every time I say, hey, can you guys, I'm begging Riley, and Riley's like, hey, I can do it, but I don't want to do it with the other guys. And I'm like, I know, but I kind of, I fuck with them. And they're like, yeah, but I'm the singer. So it's like, come on, man, let the other guys in.
Kind of a big deal.
But I'll be honest with you, man. The reason why these guys are here, these CDs over here on the table, is they have been in my truck forever. And I've been rocking to, what's the first one? Immured? Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been rocking that for, I'm not even going to lie to you, for about 8 months.
Wow.
Hell
That's
yeah.
impressive.
And then this one, well, we get, Brian and I get together before you guys show up, and we're like, okay, this is their name, and this is their social media or whatever. And then one of the songs came out from this album. I can't remember what it was, and I was like, oh, dude, there's so many good songs in this. also. But I rock the other one, I must say. You guys have another one coming, right?
We do.
Yes, we do.
Working
later
on
this
it.
year. At least fingers crossed for later this year.
Hypothetically,
It better
yeah.
happen
It's-
later this year.
I mean, it's coming along.
How long do you guys how long does it take for you guys?
What, 6 years?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
it has
know.
been
Not a
6
con-
years.
You guys
Don't worry
always
about
writing?
Yeah, more. I mean,
I
like
mean, the reason why it took so long is because we went through a period where we did not write at all.
Okay.
We didn't write for maybe 3 years or so. I mean, Riley is always writing.
Yeah.
You're constantly writing.
I would say we didn't write for
Advent for about
Okay,
3 years.
okay.
Yeah, it was a
We're
while.
really hyper focused on a lot of other things that
Yeah.
really helped our musical careers progress.
Yeah.
We've been on it's a bit of a coming of age journey.
Yes,
You know.
quite.
I never know when it's serious and when it's like being all poetic. I'm like, okay,
sorry.
you're gonna have to dumb your talk to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty not. No, I'm just kidding. I was just talking to a guy that follows the podcast in Roosevelt. I've been working in Roosevelt right now.
Nice.
And there's a guy that follows the podcast, and I say, oh, Justin, the guy that I do the podcast with, he's not gonna be in this week, but I've had and I'm not saying this to blow your guys' horn, but you guys are my favorite local band. I've always said it, and I brought up your name here a few times in very episodes, and so I said to this guy, he says, "No, I mean, I don't even call it an interview. It was just basically just hanging out." And I said, "No, these guys are gonna come hang out with me," and he said, "Oh yeah, what's their name?" So I told him, I say, Adelita's Way. And it's a joke, fellas. Jesus Christ.
Come on, we're like so captured by your story here.
But he's like, he started listening to it, but he's like, and the only thing he said is like, holy shit, that bass player, he said.
Oh,
And I'm like,
Nice.
This guy
dude.
Aw.
I'm like, I don't know his name, but it's
kid.
good. I'm just kidding.
sucks.
I was like,
You don't
I'm
even
like,
know his face, but that's
yeah, I
fine.
don't even. Well, when I met you, you had long hair, a lot longer than that.
It was super. I cut it really short. I'm growing it back out, but
That's
it's just
true.
like I haven't cut it all COVID, so it's just like looking homeless over here. But I dig it. So
I always tell the story of. I always tell the story when we met. You guys remember this?
Liquid Joe's.
Yep.
was
So
it Liquid Joe's?
Liquid Joe's. Yeah,
Holy
you guys
shit.
opened for us.
Yep.
And so here's my impression of these guys. The first thing I see these guys is like, I think you came up to us and you're like, hey, my name is Riley, and we're gonna be the ones opening, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. I so happen that, and I've said this many times too. Every time when I used to play, I took it so serious that I never had fun. Because I was like, it was like work for me. So I would get there and I go, okay, first band is there. I'm gonna bring my shit and put it in the corner. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, first band is out, second band is in. So then I start opening my bags, pulling all my stuff together.
Yep.
Then I'm always like, what's what number of songs? They're only playing 4. Okay, so this is the third. I got 2 more songs, and then when they're going, I'm already putting stuff in.
As a drummer, you kind of have to.
As
though,
a
'cause
drummer, you kind of
gotta-
have
got a
to.
lot
It's
of
not
shit
just
set up.
amping guitar and I'm set.
Yeah.
True.
And also the people that all play for me, or with me, they never fucking help me. But whatever, that's another thing. But I remember you guys went up, so I never paid attention to the bands that either I don't even want to call open for us, but that we played with. We opened for Royal Bliss so many times. I don't know one song of them because I'm always like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
So then you guys went up, and I see these kids. They go up, dude. They're wearing suits with the patches on the elbows, and I'm like, oh
they were the suit
my
days.
god,
The
the
suit
suit days.
We
dude.
had
That was the
suit
show that
coat.
we brought the TV. That was
it?
the Battle of Russia show.
Oh yeah, and we like tried to like beat the shit out of that tape,
Yeah.
and it didn't work.
So
and it just
we
fucking
had
got
this
eaten by
idea.
the
That
VCR.
one, I don't remember that being at Liquid Joe's.
That was at Liquid Joe's because I remember having to load the TV
Oh my
out of
God,
the
no,
van
you're
in
right,
front of
'cause
Liquid
it was-
Joe's.
We had the big
So-
wooden,
yeah,
like,
so
the
we-
70s wooden box TV.
We had this idea
Oh my God,
that we
yeah.
were gonna like dress up in suit coats, like all old fashioned.
Yeah.
And we were gonna go to the DI and buy one of those old box TVs that are in those big wood frames from like the 60s. And so we go to the DI, we buy this giant TV that probably weighs 250 pounds.
Easy.
and we bought a VCR, and we didn't really care what tapes we bought, so we just looked through the DI's tape section and we found a VHS tape of like a documentary of the Battle of Russia. and we took the tape, and these guys like took like pens and pencils and scissors and just scraped the crap out of it and like
The
crinkled
entire
the
like
tape.
3-hour documentary. We're just like scribbling the shit out of it.
Yep.
And
So
then it was
like
ugh.
we got to Liquid Joe's, and like it was a way bigger ordeal to get this TV out of the van than to get the entire drum set and amps and all that stuff. We spent so much time getting the TV onto that stage and setting up the VHS player and playing it. And during our set, I don't think anybody even noticed that it was there. Like it was so much work for nothing. But we had this old black and white destroyed videotape of the Battle of Russia. So that show,
And I'm
we
sure
now
our
refer to
sound
that show as the Battle of
And
Russia.
I guarantee our sound check was weird because our sound check is still weird because like I feel like we've been on stage so many times at this point that like we just don't take sound check remotely seriously at all. It's always making weird noises into the mic, saying weird shit to the
Mostly
crowd.
making fun of the way that each other sound checks.
Yeah.
No,
most-
usually what it is Riley will start sound checking, and he'll start with like one of two ways that he does.
He will
a sound
sing
check.
just like he did.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and back in the day, it was oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the sound check. And
It
it
was
was
from a Yes recording.
It actually was, yes.
yeah,
It
and
was
then
a
the rest of
live
us
yes
would all
recording.
just mimic him all super shit.
I must say,
And-
the way I check my mic is the same way I used to check every mic that I ever played. Like when I had my, because I used to rock the headset.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I
the
remember.
Britney Spears
Oh,
hashtag
yeah.
Free Britney.
Yep.
And I was just like, every time they're like, all right, drummer, give me your vocals. And I'm like, check, mic two, yes. He's like, okay. Like, all right.
Gotta MC it.
But back to that day.
Yeah.
So you guys went up, and I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know what these kids are gonna play. I was just like, well, whatever. And then you guys play Justified, and
Yep.
and I was just like, okay, this sounds good. And then you guys play this right here. The bridge.
Yeah.
And I remember standing there. This is So I remember watching that, and I just went, my jaw just went poof on the floor, and I was like, are you kidding me? And ever since that, I left that time, I had the album with me that night, and I've been rocking it ever since. You guys are amazing. And I remember thinking, because is it just me or one of you guys wasn't even old enough?
I think I had just barely turned 21 at
Okay.
that gig, if I remember right, and Mike was about to turn 20. It was something like that.
It was around my birthday.
Yeah, it was
around my birthday.
probably in November.
Yeah.
Watch this interview like shuts Liquid Joe's down.
No. This was a legal show. I remember that. I remember
Oh,
it
was
was
it?
a legal show for me because it was one of the first bar shows that I ever played
Yeah.
legally.
Because I remember. Do you remember this band Radiata?
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
oh, yeah.
So I
Absolutely.
play with them. In fact, the singer works in this bar over here in the corner. It's a gay bar, but he's good. He's cool. He's a cool guy.
Hell yeah.
But there was you guys remember Johnny? The guitarist Johnny Mockton,
Yeah.
guitarist,
Yep.
super awesome guitarist.
Yeah.
When he was playing with us, he was like 17, 18 years old. So what we would do is like we will set up, and he will come in and like basically set his guitar and his amp and shit, and then he will be outside. And so he will walk in, we rock it, and then he'll get out.
Yep.
That's how it was back in. I mean, obviously, it's got to be the same.
Yeah.
I mean, if you show up with gear and you look like you belong, no one's gonna say shit.
If you show up and you're like bossing people around, hey, let me get my guitar, let's go.
Yep.
You're like, what? You're like,
Bring
"Oh,
your
nothing."
older friends. Just like it upgrades you a few years, you know what I mean? Like the crew that you hang out with, they're like, oh yeah, he's old enough.
Yep.
Yo, what was so is this still four of you, or is the chick in Advent? No.
So Lisa is with Shuffle.
Yeah.
Not with Advent. Advent is
we'll
still
get- we'll
a
get into
four-man
Shuffle
band
here later.
currently.
Yeah.
Will probably end up being a 5-piece for when we start playing the material from this new album, just because it's a lot more instrumentally complex than
Yeah.
anything we've ever done
Yeah.
before.
I mean, how much can I swear?
You can say whatever you want.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Dude, if, obviously you guys don't follow this, but we have all the swears. We
All right,
have
all the swears. Got it.
so
Sounds good.
Stagehound had like what 2 keyboard parts on this.
Well, Stagehound. So
On
my,
it?
my goal with Stagehound
There was like an
was
organ part
I
somewhere,
wanted
right?
to make an entire album with no keyboards. I wanted everything that a band would normally fill with keyboards. I wanted to fill that space with more guitar parts.
Oh, yeah,
Which
okay.
what it turned into was every song had like some ridiculous, like 30 guitar parts per song.
It was stupid.
And it's cool in some places, but also gets really, the sonic space gets really crowded because of that.
Yeah.
Because it's just stacking a bunch of the same instrument on top of itself. What we've done with this new album is said, well, let's make it just as sonically dense, but let's cut down on the guitars and use as many extra sounds as we can. So we're going to fill the space with synthesizers, with sound effects,
Yeah.
with extra vocals, with all that stuff. So it's very dense music, but it's going to mix together a lot better, I think, than Stagehound did.
Yeah.
And also the what was the Levi, right?
Yeah.
Levi left, and then what's the name of this guy that came in?
Grant. We've been playing with Grant for a while. Yeah.
And I think you mentioned to me one time, or I think you said it on stage, if I'm not mistaken, at the Royal. He's like, "Here's my brother," and I'm like, "Oh, these guys are brothers." And then I see you guys singing, and then I see you guys playing, and I'm like, "Oh, these guys are twins." And then I went as far as, you know, when we went and saw you with my wife, I'm like, "Oh, these guys are brothers." And I think, I don't know if she asked you or she asked Grant or something, like,
Something.
"No, they're not." Like, no, they are. We're like, "No, they're friends."
I wonder why I would have said, "Here's my brother." I mean, maybe I thought I was being funny.
you thought you
or
were-
something. I don't know. Like,
It's doing a Riley thing, you know.
I mean, it's a Riley thing. I say things.
How hard is it for you? Correct me if I'm wrong. You are active LDS?
Was. Have not been for a couple
Oh.
years, but I mean, every time you've seen Advent Horizon play, I was. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. No, because I was gonna say
Question irrelevant.
Because when I met you guys were so tight, you know. And I remember thinking, oh, he's LDS, but he can deal with all this. Like, he's LDS, but here are your friends, bandmates, drinking, swearing, and I think one of you guys had a parrot. Was it Levi? Was it you?
No, but I do remember there was someone brought. Did you say parrot?
Yeah.
Someone
think a
brought
bird?
a parrot to that show. I remember
Wait, what?
this.
I thought wasn't it Levi's?
No, but I think some dude
That
brought it. And I
sounds
can
like
imagine
something Benny would
being
do, but I
fucking
don't think he
stoked
did.
about a parrot. I can imagine him just hanging out with
Wait, is
parrot
it
guy.
Benjamin or Levi?
Both.
So we
Wh-
call him
which-
Benny. His first name is Levi, but he goes by Benny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I was. When did we? Oh, what was Sandy's Station? When you guys played, and I was talking to you guys,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you said you were there, weren't you?
Sandy Station.
Do you remember that? Do you remember you
Yeah.
guys played?
Yeah.
You guys played as Advent, but you guys were playing covers.
Yeah, this
And
is
there
right
was
before Shuffle.
Nobody there.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we were playing
To the
like
point that
six
I was
people.
sitting on stage. I was like, "Yay!" And I remember it clearly. You guys were singing Queen.
This is exactly why we started the cover band, is because we were like, fuck playing covers as an original band.
Yeah.
Fuck playing to 3 people. Like, if we're gonna make money playing covers, we're gonna fucking make money playing covers and not do this.
And that's where I was going. How important would you say it is to for, or like nowadays, because I haven't been in that, you know, doing any of that for years now, but how important do you think it is for a original band to have covers, or is it better to have to do what you guys did, which is, why don't you just start another
I
project?
don't think it's a bad idea to have covers, but it should be very minimal. I think that when you really start, if you get to the point where you're playing a lot more covers than just one or maybe 2 a
Yeah.
set, then you're just getting into territory where you're getting hired to play covers, and that's fine. You can make good money
That's
doing
exactly
that.
what happened to Advent.
Yeah.
We started getting known locally as the rock band that does the really sick
Yeah.
Carry On Wayward Son cover.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we
yeah.
were getting hired because of it.
Or
as
Rush
an
or
original
whatever.
band. Or
Yeah.
playing our Rush shows, stuff like that. And I wanted to either play original music or play covers.
Oh, you don't want to mix.
I didn't want to mix.
I think it's a bad road to go down. It's cool to like throw a cover in so that people are like, oh yeah, this is a song I know or whatever, and get their attention. But if you end up playing too many covers, when you play your originals, people just don't know like what to
people
do
just
with
like,
it,
hey,
man.
let's just go get another
They're
beer.
like, yeah, they're like, I don't fucking know this song.
But here's the
So-
thing. There's also another side of that coin where there's a lot of original bands that refuse to play covers.
Yeah.
And
I think it depends on the band,
it,
right?
it really does. It depends on the band. It depends on the genre. But sometimes you need a cover to really get people's attention into your original music.
Yeah.
But sometimes that cover will overshadow your original music. So it's there's a very fine line as an original band.
I think that covers can be useful to clue an audience into to get them into the right mindset for your music, because sometimes you'll come on stage and you'll start playing music. I mean, with Advent, I know this is the case because we'll be playing with a bunch of like alt rock bands, and people will be, they'll be hearing a bunch of music that sounds like Blink 182 or Yellow Card or whatever before we get on stage. And they're in that Yellow Card mindset. So when we start playing, they're like, what is this? What's going on? But if we can open up with like a really killer Rush cover or a really killer Kansas cover, then it kind of lets them know, oh, this is what we should be expecting, and
they're going to play
sets their
progressive rock.
expectations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, like, again, like Mike was saying, it's a fine line to walk, because you don't want the quality of that cover to be way better than your original music, because then everybody just knows you as the band that played that cover. So yeah, fine line, man. It's
Yeah, but I think you guys nailed it on the head, right? Because you guys, instead of just saying, hey, instead of just adding covers to our original, let's just do another project.
Yeah.
Now,
and
here's one of my.
that was Mike's thing that he
Yeah,
pushed
I
for, and
was
was very
pushing for
much
that
the right
for a
decision.
long
so you
time.
already
It was absolutely
the right-
drummer, dude. Drummer.
Well, it was-
I know.
By the
we
way,
know,
I wore
we
the
know.
gayest shirt I own for you.
Dude, I love
so you know.
that shit. No, you walked up downstairs with that shirt. I was like, okay, all right, cool, yeah.
Every time, every time I see it on my drawer, I'm like, I
Not
don't know.
today.
I don't know.
I don't even have any drumming shirts. What's wrong with
I
me?
had a couple weeks ago. I was rocking I was a judge in the drum off at the Guitar Center. Remember Mitch?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So Mitch was one of my homeboys, and
Nice.
he's like, "Dude, you gotta be a judge." I'm like, "What do I know about drumming?" It's like, "You fucking kidding me?" It's like, "Just come in," and then awesome drummers, and then he's like, "Here it is, dude." I'm like, "Oh no!" He says, "What did he say? Eat, sleep, drum, repeat, or something like that." So whatever.
Nice.
Anyway,
Makes sense.
the reason why I was saying about the LDS is because when I had a band that we were playing in Spanish, I think it was my first serious band here, not really, but. And there was two people. One of them, my friend Nestor, who you know, I don't know if you guys
Nestor,
know,
yeah.
the guy I did the T-shirt.
Yeah,
the
he did
t-shirt
our shirts for us.
Yeah, men briefly.
So him and I were the only ones that were in LDS, and the rest of them were. So when he came to, hey, we have this gig at a bar.
Oh no.
Then they're like, well, I gotta bring this up to my family, and I gotta talk to my wife, and I gotta see.
You gotta repent about it.
Yeah,
I was
so-
in a house of sin.
So it was so, but I remember thinking, are we putting these guys into like in a shitty situation? But then I saw you guys, and was like, well, it's doable.
Totally.
yeah.
I think we just had a passion for it, and it's what we all wanted to do. And that's
Exactly.
kind of what brought us together, whether we're in a bar or, an all ages show. It's just about playing music and that being a huge part of our lives. So I think it really just has to come down to priorities, because I think some people prioritize like that just very differently than maybe a group of guys like us would.
That's true.
And because you did it really well, Riley. And I remember you saying this a few times. You always felt more comfortable around like rock and rollers and like kids that had similar
Backgrounds.
similar backgrounds.
Yeah.
But like that never really conflicted with your thing. Because if you were in a situation where like people are getting just like fucked up, you're like, not for me, bye.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ever a thing. Everyone knew Riley's like, oh, he's not cool with that. All right, cool, bye. You know?
Yeah, I think there's this stigma in the LDS faith about being around quote unquote sin, whatever they consider to be sin. The idea that if you're around it, then you're going to be influenced by it. And I don't necessarily think that's right. I think if you've made up your mind about what your beliefs are and what you will and will not do, and you stick to that, then cool. Like I think that's just kind of a general roadmap for life, right? Like outside of religion, decide who you are, decide what you want to do, and stick to that. You know, and that's kind of how I always felt about it. It's just
This guy's. It was such a problem to be like, hey, so are we like the day of? We're like, are we doing this or what? We're like, yeah, I guess we can. I was like, really? But then I'm like, and my buddy Nestor and I used to talk, and we're like, well, obviously they're not in this to make it happen, And like, and speaking of make it happen, what does make it happen for you guys? Do you guys still have that dream of like making money out of music to like where you can quit your jobs? Or I mean,
Honestly,
I don't want to throw the word famous because it's like too cliche, but
I just want people to mosh for me at a Denny's. That's all
and
I
that's
want.
all the time we have. Thank you so much, right?
I mean, honestly though, like that would be the dream, right? Just to like not have to do anything other than play music. And we've just been trying to figure out how to do that. It's been weird. I don't know. It's been a journey. It's been a thing.
Now, how many in between you? I mean, every single project. How many are they?
Oh,
How many
Jesus.
bands?
I tried to count one time. It's like 5 or 6. It's something stupid.
5 or 6 projects that include all of us.
Us three.
The 3 of us.
The 3 of us. Yeah.
And so, what do you guys do for a living that allows you to do all this? I know back when I talked to you, back when I asked you were a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And
right now I'm a door guy at the bar up at Brighton Ski Resort.
oh, okay.
So I mean, I just hang out up at
So he
Brighton.
skis all
I
day.
ski all day.
You do?
I kick people out of the
kicks
bar.
people out of the
Do you really?
bar and then plays music.
What about you?
I work a desk job in regulatory affairs for medical devices, which is kind of weird. It's very...
Get the fuck
It's
out.
very, very
One of these
not
things is
fun.
not like the other.
It's very boring.
What about you?
I'm a health insurance agent.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I've seen your
I think I've
posts.
talked to you about that before.
By the way, is everything good? Are you good on your
I was gonna say, man.
It's always so.
You need help?
You gotta know that it's always awkward when someone brings that up, don't you?
Oh, yeah, for
there was
sure.
a guy. There was a guy that knew me from work, and I didn't know who he was, and he like got a hold of me after I had quit that, and he started talking to me about the podcast and everything, and then he just started talking about my finances, like dude, and I'm just like, aren't you a vac truck driver? And you want to? Oh yeah, but I do this on the side, man. You want to get together and talk about your finance? I can help you. I'm like, who are like? I don't know you. Like, what are you talking about?
Hustle's weird.
No, seriously. Like I've been approached by some financial advisors. I'm just like,
Absolutely.
Like, I
bitch,
can't
you
do
don't
this.
need to tell me how to properly spend my money. I spend it on like the shit that I want.
I live the way I want.
Where do you guys jam?
We
Jam?
What is
you guys
this?
practice?
We
What is
actually
practice?
learn
You guys don't
songs.
practice. You guys that good?
We
Piss off.
We learn songs on stage. No joke.
Well, okay, with
we
shuffle,
learn
with shuffle.
we learn
Yeah.
songs backstage.
That's a
That's
good
true.
way to
That's
put it.
that's
a
how we
good
do it.
way
We
We're
learn
like,
songs
hey, how does this
backstage.
song go? Oh, this is how the song goes. Okay, let's play some Metallica.
He just brought out a good point. As musicians, Brian's a well-known DJ. I'm a okay drummer.
More than okay.
Thanks. We've been talking about maybe do a DJ drummer kind of collage, right? Like kind of
Which
like
would be
like
sick.
Travis
That
Barker
would be
does.
sick.
Like,
That'd be
So we've been
so
talking
cool.
about it forever. Now listen, we've been talking about it forever. The only reason why we haven't done it is because he thinks that we don't need to practice.
I don't practice.
Sure, you don't need to
Why would a
practice.
DJ need to practice?
Okay,
All-star
like-
DJ, I don't need to practice.
Okay, but what about? Like, but you need to practice drummer with the DJ though.
Well, here's the
I
thing.
don't know. I
Here's-
mean, like-
from drummer to drummer, all you need is the BPMs of all of the
Yeah.
the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
They're about 100. They're
Around
about
100,
Yeah,
120.
It's a
Yeah.
115. I don't.
Yep.
You don't go to house.
Yeah,
Nah. All right.
Not that. Not what we're doing. This.
And then all you gotta do is just fucking riff.
No, I know I can't.
That's all you gotta do. And I know you can do it. I know you. I've
Sometimes
seen it.
Sometimes he plays music. When we were alone in his house, he plays music, and I usually, like, basically do a drumming freestyle on the table. And he's like, "Dude, that's." I was like, "Yeah, but like,
Yeah, it's
I know the song. I know it's coming. I know that I know where it is. Like, that's what I."
It's some extra toms and some extra.
He's like, "Give me some extra." I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, "It's too much." He's like, "No, it's just perfect." So you guys don't even practice. All you got, your stuff is in your house. Your stuff is in your house.
Yeah.
You guys,
Yeah,
you guys
we've,
Zoom
we've got a
practice?
space set up at
We've-
my place that we can practice. We used to be renting a space here in downtown Salt Lake for about a year
Yeah, when I
and
saw
a
you at the
half.
gas station.
Yeah, we had a place for a while, but we rented the space thinking that we'd use it a lot, and for various reasons, COVID being a part of it, but a lot of other reasons, we just never used it. Like once out of every, I think we used it 4 times in the year 2019.
Yep.
And that
I mean,
worked out
I
to us
used it a
paying
lot
like
more
$2,000
personally.
per practice, basically, to rent the space.
There's two
so,
bands here.
Yeah.
There's one at the end of the hall, and there's one downstairs.
Nice. Yeah,
Sounds good though.
it's so we're.
I think
we're
got the
just-
most use out of that practice space.
Yeah.
I think we're just super used to playing with each other
Yeah.
because like we just expect like we'll be like, hey, we're playing this song at the next gig, and we just expect that everyone learns the song. And then if someone plays something bad on stage, we're like, oh, hey, like that's not how that song goes. We're like, oh yeah,
That's
like
the
Riley
world
said-
of professional party bands for
Yeah.
you, too.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you learn a song? Let's just say they're gonna play a cover and they're like, this is the cover. How do you? Obviously, you're jamming in your ears. I'm guessing.
That's it.
You don't do any air drumming. You don't do.
I listen to the song and then
Over
I
and
play
over?
it. Yeah.
You know what I do? It's just so weird. I play drums with my teeth.
Yeah. No, I do the same thing. I do the exact
let's
same
start
thing.
a podcast. I'm just kidding.
No, but like when I have a song to learn and there's like a particularly like tricky rhythm or feel that I have to
Yeah.
do, like I'll make sounds with my body to get how it's supposed to feel in my head. Like it's a really weird thing to like talk about to a non-drummer.
Yeah.
But like I'll hear it and I'll be like,
Hey, Ronnie, go get us a drink, will you?
Speaking, I am dry. You know.
Oh, you want to know? Dude, all you gotta do is say something.
Oh my god,
Keep
dude.
going, dude.
All right, top class service up in this bitch. Dude. Oh my god, this guy. Dude, White Claws for days. Okay. Okay.
One of those.
sure.
You need a black
Fuck
cherry
it.
claw?
Yeah, sure.
Why not? Or you want a white claw? I gotta know the white claw.
That's fine.
Whatever
This works.
you get.
All right, beer break.
While you're up, I'll take a water.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no. Yeah, that.
Mormon boys taking water.
Stay
Keep
hydrated.
it real.
Designated driver. Yes.
All right, so
come and look.
so to go back to Riley was Mormon.
Yeah.
It was incredible playing at bars and getting just fucking wasted.
Yeah, 'cause people would buy him drinks.
knowing we had a safe ride home.
Well, and people would like
Like-
buy him his ass drinks, and then we'd have way too many drinks, and we'd get hammered, and then we'd be obnoxious on the drive home.
So it's like people would buy him shots and he would turn around to me or Kaysen like hand us a
yes,
shot.
that's
It was
the
like,
best.
okay, 4 shots per set. All right, sick. Let's get it.
I remember one
But,
time I played in Five Monkeys back then.
Yep.
Oh man,
And so we finished our, because you know how I play, you know, I was just being a clown and shit. And so I finished the set, and these 2 chicks, hot chicks, came up to me, and I need I remind you, I was handing things to my wife so she can get it off the stage, my cymbals and stuff.
Yeah.
And these chicks came up to me and he goes, "Hi, what's your name?" I said, "Oh, Angel." And my wife is totally cool. She's like, "Whatever, do your thing, you know, I don't care." And he's like, "Oh my God, can I buy you a drink?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he goes, "What do you drink?" I'm like, "I'll drink whatever you drink." And he goes, "We'll be right back." And I'm like, "Okay." And then they, off they went. And then my wife was like, she's like, "Just do your thing, whatever." Then they came back and goes, "Can I get a picture with you?" I'm like, "Sure." And then they gave the phone to my wife. Like, they just turned around and was like, "Can you take a photo?" My wife is so, "Sure." She's 1, 2, 3. And I'm just like, with those 2 hot chicks, I'm like, yeah. But I
Nice.
lost my train of thought.
Amy's amazing.
Amy's
Your wife
amazing.
sounds pretty cool.
You met her, haven't you?
I think
Yeah,
I did
we've
at
met
a
her.
gig because
she's
you
been-
came
we've
to
met
the
her
loading
at
dock with
Five
her, right?
Monkeys.
Yeah, she's been at Five Monkeys. Yeah.
Loading dock.
Ice House.
it's not
Yeah.
even 5 monkeys anymore, man.
Yeah, it's Ice House.
Ice House. I mean, Ice House has better food.
They do
House
have
is
better
amazing.
food.
That's what I've heard.
They installed that
their
weird
food is
ass
great.
mirror though in the men's bathroom, and I just cannot
God,
deal
there's
with
a
it.
one
man.
Oh, yeah,
above.
yeah.
No, it was
When
the
you see
same at the-
outside?
Above the urinals, so when
Yeah.
you're peeing, you can watch people. I'm like, nah,
Yeah,
I'm not about this.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
about
yeah.
monkeys.
You're like staring at their food. You're all.
Oh my god.
You're like pissing.
That looks so good.
Every time I'm walking through that bar, I'm like, there's someone pissing back there, and they're just staring me in the eye, and it's too weird.
Dude,
man.
just walk by that mirror, just like stare at it.
look down.
You're just like,
Also, I think 'cause obviously I follow you guys and everything you guys do, but you guys did everything that not necessarily a band is supposed to do, but it's like a normal thing for a band to do. You guys bought a van.
yep.
You guys,
A couple.
so you guys went all over the place. Like, how you guys went to California? Did you guys record in California? Or you guys went.
Yeah,
to play?
So Stagehound was about half of that was recorded in Oakland. All the vocals, some of the guitars, and then the whole thing was mixed in Oakland. But yeah, we traveled all over the place. We did a couple of national tours,
Yeah.
with quotations for people who are not on video.
Mm-hmm.
And
a wild
nothing was
experience.
big. Nothing we ever did was fame and fortune. But we just kind of looked at all the things that bigger bands were doing and said, let's do that.
Yeah.
Even if it's at a smaller scale, let's do that. Let's do all those things. And to varying levels of success. But it was fun. It was a good time, and we've been less active as Advent in the past couple of years now, and a lot more active as Shuffle, which has totally transformed the experience we have as musicians. But yeah, we did travel quite a bit with Advent.
Well, and we travel even more now with Shuffle, our party band.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
And
do,
which is
yeah.
We
weird.
travel a lot
don't
more, but we don't
tour
go
with
on
it.
for as long of stints.
Yeah,
we'll go out
it's
for a
nice.
weekend.
Touring as an original
Yeah.
band is a gnarly experience. Like
Yeah.
as an entertainment band, someone's just like paying, right? So they're just like, yeah, come out. Either they're paying for gas or they're paying for a flight or whatever it
Yeah.
is. But like when you're playing original music, like you're booking your own gigs and you're just driving and you're trying to figure out how you're going to actually pay for what you're doing every single day.
Yeah.
And you're not out for a weekend, if someone's not hiring you for a party or something, you're driving around for a month. You're stuck in a van for a month with guys for 24/7. Like, so you got to be
You
close
guys
with those people.
sleep in the van?
Sometimes.
Occasionally,
The last few tours that we did, we
Mostly
tried
floors.
to make sure that we were making enough money to get Airbnbs.
That's
Oh, okay.
true.
Airbnbs and decent food.
Because there were a couple tours where we just
And
slept
decent
on
food.
people's
Yeah.
floors, and it was a weird time.
Yeah, we slept on a radio station floor.
that was not a radio station.
it was not.
That was not a radio
That-
station.
No.
No. I mean,
They
it
call
was
it
a
a radio
practice space.
station.
It was a practice space.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, downtown music, and we
Okay.
slept on that floor.
And someone was just like, someone was
they
like,
call it
you
one.
can
Exactly.
stay in our practice space, and we went in there, and it was like downtown music. It's exactly what you'd expect, and we were like,
Just like
damn.
cigarette
I know
butts and
exactly.
heroin
I know
needles,
exactly.
like,
Oh,
it's just
you know,
like,
I must say,
like, I'm
I
home.
had so I played in Radiata, and they had a band room there, and then I also played for Barry the Wolf for a minute, which it was Mitch's band.
Yep.
And I played for that, and they both had a good sized room to where keep everything is in order, everything is where it's supposed to be. I had a friend that was across the hall from my room with Barry the Wolf, and it was just probably smaller than this, and they were potheads. And downtown, they don't give a shit.
It was
Man,
messy
as long
as
as you
fuck.
pay, as long as you're paying your bill.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not supposed to. We're not getting anybody in trouble, but it's like it happens.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
you can
absolutely.
smell when it happens.
Oh, yeah.
But
We've all been there.
I remember my buddy texted me and he goes, "Dude, are you jamming?" I said, "Yeah, we just finished." And he said, "Well, I'm across the hall from you." I'm like, "All right." And I work with this guy. I go in his room, and the amount of weed and BO that hit me
Yeah.
right on the nostrils. I was like, "Oh my hell!"
Well, I remember the place we stayed, they were smoking cigarettes in that room too. Because I remember this point where you were smoking at the time and you were chilling there and you're like, so if I need to smoke, can I like smoke in here? Or do I got to go outside? And the dude was just like, yeah, man, you got to go outside. And I remember sitting there and I was like,
ashtray. There was an ashtray
cigarette butts
over on the
everywhere,
side.
and
Like,
I
I
was
was just like, all right, dude.
I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, that room was the weirdest. That was like
Those are one of the dirtiest
So,
rooms I've ever been in my
it was in
entire life.
Boston.
Okay.
It was in downtown
That gig
Boston.
was
It was in the
awful.
industrial district by downtown Boston.
Gig
And we
fucking
had this
sucked.
gig. It was like we got booked to play at this bar, and the bar, like, there was a promoter for the gig, and the promoter insisted, like, they set us as the headliner band. Maybe they thought we were a bigger deal than we were, but I always try to do a good job when I'm negotiating these things of being like, hey, just so you know, we don't have a following in your city. Like,
Yeah.
maybe 3 or 4 people will show up to see us, but we're not
Yeah.
going to draw 100 people. But he did not get that, and he booked like 2 other touring bands and then 1 local act that was like an acoustic duo to open the night. And so like there was no crowd at all, and the promoter was like, "Oh, well, I've got these 3 touring bands and I've guaranteed each of them however much money." So he charged like $20 cover at the door.
Yeah.
And so there were some people that wanted to come in, and he would not let the room is literally empty. The bands are playing to not a single person, because even like the other bands that are waiting for their set are all in the back. So the band that's actually playing is to an empty bar and a bartender.
Well, there's people trying
to get in, but he's like, "Sorry, it's a $20 cover," and they're like, "I'm not gonna pay that. Your room's empty. Can I get in? How about 10? I'll give you 10." And he was like, "Nope, sorry, 20." So like it was an completely empty show, and it was like pouring rain. And they made us play our set. Like, we even asked, because like I had a cold that day and I wasn't feeling so good, and I was like, dude, there's nobody here. Like, I'll tell you what, don't even pay us. And he was like, no, just play your set, man. Like, that's what I hired you to do, play your set. They would not let us not play. And I was like, but we're not playing. We're playing for you. Like,
And the bartender, I remember being incredibly obnoxious.
Yo,
like,
he was-
super loud. It's very annoying.
And so like we play
Oh
our
my
set to
gosh.
nobody. We get our $100 or whatever the guy paid us, and then we pack up in our van in the pouring rain, and it's like 40 degrees, and we had nowhere to stay, and we're like sitting there like we didn't make enough money to cover an Airbnb tonight, so we're either sleeping in the van and it's cold and raining,
Or we're driving.
or we're driving all night because our next gig was in Philly.
So you guys spooked.
And so what we ended up doing was we just talked to
Yes.
one of the other bands like that was there loading up their stuff, and I was like, hey man, I know this is a crappy thing to ask, but like, can we crash on one of your couches for the night? And the guy was like, oh yeah, like actually I work at a radio station, we got some practice rooms, you can just come crash on one of the floors, just follow me. And so we followed him there. And it was, like I said, in the industrial district just south of Boston, and it was this old warehouse building. It was a wooden warehouse building. And I asked him at one point when it was built, and he was like, I don't know, man, like 18 something. It was this
his
old,
name was
old.
Herb. I remember his name was
Yeah.
Herb, and I also remember him
And,
like
like-
when we get there, he's like, "So you guys want to go to the bar?" And I was like, "We just
Yeah,
played
it's like
at a bar."
2
homie."
a.m. and we have to.
Name
And
is Herb. You better have a weed.
Yeah,
if
no,
you don't,
for
get
real.
the
like-
fuck out.
yeah, so he lets us into this building, and like he shows us the room, and it's like not that big, maybe about the size of what we're in currently, and it's crammed with drum sets and cables everywhere, and like bongs and ashtrays and stuff.
I remember
everywhere.
he had Ziploc baggies nailed to the wall with cigarette butts in it. I very vividly remember this being
Yep.
like, "What the fuck
He's
is this?"
Gotta
Like,
remember to take this out later, I guess.
like, why is this
But,
the Great
like-
Depression? Are you saving little bits of string? Like,
But also with the bad, I mean, it seems like you guys have gone through a very bad. But you guys played at USANA.
yeah.
we did.
Open for who?
We
Skinner
there was
and
Kansas
Leonard
and Leonard Skinner. That was a
Can you
good
imagine
gig.
that?
It was a fun time.
I must say though, when USANA was getting built, they built the stage, and my boy, bad boy Brian, and I were driving by, and he goes, "Dude, let's just go," because it wasn't fenced up or anything.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Let's just go see what's going on." We're like, "All right," and there we are, like in USANA before he even opens or even has chairs or anything. And then he goes, "Why don't you go on stage?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, let's go on stage." And I remember going on stage, like not even thinking. And then Brian's like, "You know, you're the first musician that stands on this stage." I'm like, "Yo, that's so sick."
Nice.
That is so cool. And, but yeah, you guys, how was that? How many people were there?
It was hot, and there were not as many people as there should have
But it
been.
probably
It
was more than
decent.
it looked.
Yeah,
'Cause when
I
there's
mean
not
that's
There's
a
a
big
few
place.
thousand people.
Yeah, so
Because
like
people were still coming in at the gates while we played.
Oh, okay.
right.
Oh,
So
okay,
like
okay,
the
okay.
show was billed as like it was like doors at 6:30, show at 7:30 or whatever, right? Meaning that Kansas was supposed to start at 7:30. Well, they had us go on at like 7:05 or something. So it was after doors, but technically before the show was billed to start. And so people were just coming in. Like the lawn was the most crowded part because that's where everybody was trying to get in to get a good lawn.
And it's the cheapest.
But
too.
everyone that has actual seats wasn't there yet.
Oh, okay.
And so there were, like, and the lawn was pretty full, and the actual seats were like maybe a quarter full
Yeah.
by the time we were done.
There's
and so
still
it
a
was,
ton of people, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember getting out on stage, sitting behind my drum set, and just looking out and being like, I could get used to that.
Right?
Yeah,
I
for
also
sure.
It was like,
remember.
dude,
I
was so
played
sick.
for Raw at where are we at
the complex.
at the complex, and it's like the biggest crowd we've ever had, and we worked it so we had like a video intro, and then like all the guys were gonna be out, and I was gonna be. Dude, could you pull up my Facebook, please? God damn it! I really want to show these guys. So my Facebook, and then an album that says "Me and My Girl Gigging," which is the dumbest fucking name for just my drum set. And but anyway, but that was like the biggest crowd that we had, and then I think of you guys and was like, holy shit! Like I would have. Don't get me wrong, I don't flinch,
Yeah.
but the idea of like, holy shit, like that's
Yo, I don't usually get nervous before I go on stage, but I remember for that one feeling like a little bit of butterflies and being
Yeah,
like,
that
oh,
gig.
this is a big gig. And I remember they wouldn't let us touch our gear either.
Yeah.
And I was so
Like, they
uncomfortable
set
because, like,
it
for
and,
me,
like-
that's
They
part
had-
of my routine, you know? Like,
They had all the roadies take care of
you
everything.
get on stage, you
Everything.
put your shit down, you, like,
Yeah.
do all that thing. Like, that's an experience for me. And it's
So-
you guys don't do a sound check or?
Well, they did
We-
a sound
we did
check.
a sound check
earlier.
So like, I set up my drums and then they moved them for me and reset them up.
Okay.
Same with the
Just go
pedal
all of
boards,
it.
all that shit.
Well,
Yeah,
and
it was
all
really
Stuff,
weird.
The amps, and
But, like-
all that.
I mean, I was nervous beforehand, and then we were talking with the drummer for Kansas prior, and we were just like shooting the shit with him, and it was like really, really cool. Then I remember getting out on stage, and like I didn't
weren't.
feel nervous at all. It was like one of the best experiences I'd ever had.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything just felt smooth. I was playing my ass off. Like I just had like a grin. I was just like, ah, yeah.
I do
Like,
remember it
was,
being
like-
very sunny,
It was actually hot.
very
as fuck,
bright. That stage
but-
is gnarly.
Yeah,
They
pure
didn't.
concrete.
They
Well, a
didn't
lot of
plan it
bands
very
don't
well.
play there anymore because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
because
I know
they-
Rush on their last couple tours refused to play USANA
Because the way it
Getty got
faces.
so sunburned
Yo,
one
Because
of the
you're
times.
playing,
Hurt.
Yeah.
you're playing at the night, right? And like that sun is right on
yes,
you at like 7, and it's like you can't. I remember being able to see the audience, but I remember being like, I can only look at the audience for about 2 seconds before I like go
I just
blind.
remember they had a thermometer off to one side of the stage because they had to gauge the temperature for the amp racks and stuff that were
Yeah.
there, and the thermometer said it was like 125 on the
Jesus.
stage where we were, and it was probably only 100 out in the crowd, but like because of the way the sun shines there, and it's a big, you know, they have the overhang and stuff, it just traps all that hot
Yeah,
air.
it's cement,
exactly.
too,
It
yeah.
just radiates,
And it's
like
painted
the
black
stage
for some reason.
radiates.
Last I
to help, you
remember.
know.
Yeah.
Do you guys get told like rules from the other band, like, hey, don't play my song or don't? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we had a joke up to that song because like at that point we were known, kind of air quotes known locally as the band that played "Carry On Wayward Son,"
Yeah.
and we were just like, what if we opened up Kansas playing their song? What if
like,
what
so-
if we just fucking slayed it? What would happen?
The best part about it was
Yeah.
that we heard Kansas sound checking that song,
I was
and
like,
we're
oh, they
listening to
fucked
them.
up that middle part.
Yeah,
They
we're
messed
listening
it
to
up.
it, going, "Wait, we play this better than they do." Like we were obviously super full of ourselves saying that, but like Kansas was not that they were bad, but they weren't
they were
as
showing their age.
they weren't as
were showing
polished
their
as we
age for
expected
sure.
they
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah.
Playing that song.
Especially like there's a few parts of that song that are like genuinely difficult. And I remember watching him and be like, we should have just done it. Guys, we should have just done it. The weird thing about that show, though, I remember the weirdest thing was Lynyrd Skynyrd, the way they got on stage was to AC/DC's Thunderstruck. And I remember being so fucking confused because we didn't see any of the guys from Skynyrd.
They
And
stayed in their bus.
They just like chilled in their bus, which is fine. Like, I don't
Yeah,
blame
yeah.
them. They probably don't want to chat to like some people they don't know. I think the reason we ended up talking to the guy from Kansas is because we had like some weird roundabout connection.
Yeah, one of our friends
and he,
is a friend of
yeah, and
theirs.
he came out and just chatted with us for a while. But I remember when that AC/DC track came on, I was like, "Fuck, are we playing with AC/DC?" And then like Skinner,
I have this ones too. I don't know why I haven't offered because I'm a shitty host.
it's chill.
Anyway,
Was that a Spretcher? Nice.
that's a Hoffenschaffer.
Yeah,
oh,
it's a
it looks
shopper,
like
dude.
Spretcher from back there. Like,
Yeah, Riley, you should have one of those.
no, thank you.
You don't drink
I do not.
like at all?
I won't say at all.
Oh,
but
see,
generally speaking, I do not drink.
He's been known to have a shot or two.
Everyone,
When your
I'll-
voice needs
I
it.
it's
knew he was gonna
mostly-
do that. Look, I knew he was gonna do that.
I will not be tonight because I'm not singing.
It's when he's
tonight.
singing, yeah.
It's out of necessity. A shot really like loosens your muscles, like really relaxes your throat.
Yeah.
And so if my voice is feeling rough and I still gotta sing 2 hours, I'll take a shot. But
Okay, going to that. Good thing you mentioned it. I played with people that it was all about. I understand, take the shot, take the beer, so you loosen up. I get it. But when a person goes and starts drinking to like get fucked up and they go on stage,
That's
was
not
like
a-
my biggest pet peeve.
That's not a good look.
Yep.
It's not a good look, man.
I was just like, and it happened with most of the bands that I play, not the LDS
Yeah, I
band,
think-
obviously. But
I think with a party band, it's actually a really weird line because it depends on the gig, right? Like,
Yeah.
if someone's hiring you for a professional party, we're just like, we can't like we're not here to get drunk. You're playing a bar though that's paying you really well, and you have patrons who are bringing you drinks. There's this really tricky line of like, you want to seem like a rock and roll band, and you definitely want to take the shots in front of the crowd, but you have to be super aware of how much you're drinking, because like that can get bad.
Well, because back in the day, actually when Benny was in the band,
We didn't drink
Okay.
at all.
Riley had a
Barely.
rule, and he was very steadfast about it.
Wait, don't
Yep.
drink until it's over?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was the
I
rule.
love
that
it.
was the rule.
I
Don't
love
drink
it.
until the end of the set.
Because-
After the set,
Yeah,
whatever.
Because there was so many times where, not me, but one of us would get very drunk and fuck up the set.
Fucking Kaysen.
Yeah, the guy who drinks super heavily.
No, I get it. I was, but you know, I could never. Basically, obviously, most of the bands that I played in, I got in there when it was already formed. So it wasn't like I couldn't just go in there. Well, if you want me to play here, you guys are they're gonna get the fuck out of here. But it was a thing that I always dealt with, and it drove me absolutely insane.
I mean, some people are just trying to have a good time, right? I think that's one of the difficult things about being in bands is like some people just like want to make really good music and want to be really passionate about it, and then some people are just like there to enjoy themselves, have a good time, do it as a hobby or whatever. And I think sometimes that can be really frustrating, especially for people who are like very creatively minded, because you're like, I want this to sound good, I want people to enjoy this, like I love doing this. Then you have someone who's just getting hammered and you're like, fuck, we sound like ass.
as a singer, am I making this up? You drink cold beverages?
No, I don't. It's
See, that's another thing that I thought it was a no-no, and here are all my singers being like, "Hey, let's get loose." And I'm like,
and I don't know. I mean, like, I know a lot of singers that are like hardcore. No, you cannot have cold anything before you sing.
Yeah.
But it is a known fact that cold things like ice water do constrict your muscles. They cause
Okay.
your muscles to tighten up. And singing, if you're singing properly, is all about relaxation when you're singing. You shouldn't be straining, you shouldn't be stressing, you should be relaxing. And so cold whatever you're drinking, if it's cold, it is making it difficult to be relaxed while you sing.
Yeah.
So technically yes, but also like I don't think it's as huge of a deal as some people make it.
yeah.
Like I think it's more about, is your voice warmed up? You know, are you straining yourself? Are you using good technique in general? There's other things that are bigger.
Speaking of singing, did you take lessons?
Not really.
Guitar lessons?
Not really.
You read music?
Not really.
Same for you?
I took lessons for a variety of instruments over time, but honestly, no, not really super formalized. I can read sheet music. I can read sheet music for trombone, but you give me sheet music for bass, I can't read it worth
Really?
a damn. I can read chord changes. Like if you give me a chart and it's like, okay, you're playing a C minor 7, you're playing a G, like that's fine. But you put notes in front of me on bass guitar, I'm like, fuck, that's an E.
You
Okay,
play trombone too?
I grew up playing lead trombone in like jazz music and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Actually,
I do
same.
He played,
I played
he
trumpet.
played trumpet.
Really?
Yeah, jazz trumpet.
We have a whole new band.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
I was
shit.
gonna say you're gonna be our drummer. This
we-
is our horn section right here.
We've always wanted to do
Dude,
like
can you
Earth, Wind,
imagine?
and Fire right here.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? I always wanted to do, back when I was doing the Spanish thing, and even now, like sometimes I think about it, because I had a band, like I say, with my buddy Nestor. He was the singer, and I always wanted to do a band of covers, but do it like the way Bruno Mars does his songs, when they all have a choreography, and they, even the guys that are playing the guitar and the horns, they're dancing with
moving.
you. Like that was like, it's a part. I went and saw him at the Maverick Center.
Oh yeah.
Blown
he's
away.
a good performer. And he's a great.
Blown
He's also
away.
a great musician.
It is, dude, singing, dancing, drums, guitar, bass.
synthesizers. Dude, he can do the whole
That new
thing.
shit he's doing.
Yeah, the new
With-
song
with
that-
Anderson?
Yeah, he's
So
dude,
cool.
Well,
fucking
I'm
good.
I'm such a
so cool.
Every time I see him, that song comes out
See-
somewhere out of the blue. It's like he's like, hey, so what are we doing today? And while I'm here and I'm wiping shit down, I'm throwing the garbage away, and he's like, I'm a
Dude, this
We're like, Jesus.
this whole group is
It is
huge
so good.
Anderson .Paak fanboys. Like
Yeah.
we were on that train for a long time.
I'm still on that train.
I still listen to
Anderson .Paak
Malibu
is-
all the fucking time.
He's unreal.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
he's
good.
an incredible lyricist,
Great
an incredible
drummer.
singer and rapper, and his drumming is,
Is that
so
who,
unique.
Who are you talking about?
Anderson .Paak.
Okay, is that the guy that comes out in that beer commercial with the glasses?
Huge smile. I haven't seen the commercial.
He's the one in the
It's like
video.
it's got like an
that talks
octagon
about how
shape.
He has the haze in the legs.
Yeah, but it's got like an octagon shaped glasses. And I
kinda
remember
sounds-
watching the commercial. That guy, I don't know.
He wears big ass glasses all the time.
I'll be honest. I don't know who he is, but I'm like, dude, those guys are cool. And I'm like, and obviously he's like in the drums and guitars. I'm like, oh, he's a musician.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You would fucking love.
It's
him.
like very
Yeah, he's so sick.
soulful. Like
He
does
did
a
a
hip-hop
record with Dr. Dre
that is
and
fucking
it's
bomb.
So sick, dude. It's so sick.
Did you take lessons
For a few years,
on drums?
yes.
Do you know how to read music?
I know how to read music, and I can read it pretty well. I do better with jazz charts than I do fully written out drum parts.
Yeah.
Because I hear and I play way fucking faster than I can read a part.
Yeah.
But if you give me a jazz chart, be like, it's kind of like this.
Here's
do
the things
this
you
for
have to
18
hit.
measures.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can do that.
Well, and like with rock music too, like at least this crew, like we all pretty much just learn things exclusively by ear. I mean, like maybe if we're like really struggling with something, especially like with bass parts, sometimes they're really buried. So maybe I'll like pull up an isolated bass track or whatever, but we're all learning stuff by ear. So it's like reading shit on a page with rock musicians is always like wild to me. Like when people pull out their charts on a stage, I'm like, dude, this is rock music. Why are you pulling out? Why you gotta stand on stage? Like, why are you looking at a chart? Like,
Well, and that's one thing that my drum teacher really helped to develop is he realized that like I was much better at hearing the music and playing it than I was reading the music and playing it. And so he helped me learn how to listen to a part and like a Rush song, for instance. Like I learned a shit ton of Rush when I was taking lessons. Like listening to a Rush part and envisioning exactly how it's played and trying to recreate it. And if you have a hard time doing that, then you go to the sheet music
Okay.
to find like fine tune like a fill or whatever that you're doing. But yeah, generally speaking, my lessons were us pulling up a song that I wanted to learn, listening through it, figuring out what the feel is, where the breaks are, where the fills are, and then just playing it. And it was really good. But I also learned a few years after I stopped taking lessons that we had completely skipped a lot of the fundamentals, which I don't blame my teacher at all. I blame myself for not wanting to do those things. And so I had to go back and relearn a lot of things, like especially with technique. But me learning that on my own, I think helped a lot. I think it helped a shit ton, actually, for my own musical development.
yeah.
Every time I jam one of your guys' CDs, it's like, I miss it.
Same.
Miss drumming.
Yeah. So and then there's a guy in that I work with that knows me from way back, and he's like, "Where are your drum set? Where's your drum set?" I'm like, "It's in the house." Why? Is it just covered in dust? I'm like, "No, it's in bags." He's like, "How long have they been there?" I'm like, "I don't know, 6-7 years." That's so bad.
That's why I keep trying to get him to do something.
Dude, you
Do
should.
it, man.
You
fucking should.
The Modelo commercial. Modelo.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's him. Oh, did you just look it up?
Nice.
He's so great.
That's why I have him.
That dude has like such a like positive kick-ass attitude.
Yeah.
Like he makes great music, but also like he's just one of those people that has that drive. He's a successful kind of person.
So happy that him and Bruno Mars, because they have that same musical vibe.
Yeah, they both have like that soul,
The
like
vintage
funk,
thing, yeah.
vintage thing going on.
Where
Perfect
where
combo.
they do the dance moves with the trumpets and
Yep.
stuff. I love it.
Dude, and his performances. He's such a good
for
performer too.
So is it one guy or he has a band?
He is a band.
So he has a band that he plays with pretty regularly, but also he used to do the entertainment work kind of thing for a very long time before he got well known too. He's playing in a lot of entertainment bands, so he's got like that ability to play at a really, really high level and like nail it live, but also be like just a fantastic entertainer. Like he's so much fun to watch, and you always feel like he's having a ton of fun on stage, which is rad. Bruno's the same way.
You should look him up.
There's,
Look him up.
I will say this. How can I explain this? The file that I have for music that I like in general is so small. It is so small.
Yeah.
Like I like my band, and then I like everything that band will do. Like I don't expand like I should.
Yeah.
And I know that I miss so much.
Well, and my problem is the exact opposite. Like the exact opposite. Like I listen to so much music, but very little in each genre.
Okay.
Like I'll find a band that I really fucking like, and I'll find a few songs that I really fucking like, and I'll listen to that album and be like, this is so fucking sick. Then I'll listen to other parts, like other albums that they put out, and I'm like, this sucks. And like then I'll go on to a different genre. Like I don't stick to a genre or a band. I listen to that genre or that band's best stuff, in my opinion.
I usually like check out their discography, you know what I mean, and find
Yeah.
like what I love of theirs. But I feel like this crew, like overall, like we just listen to a lot of random shit.
Tons
Like
of random shit.
Like I think I used to be a lot more focused, but like over just like the last few years, it's just gone off the deep end. It's people like, what do you listen to? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, whatever. Just put something on. If it's good, then I'll enjoy it.
You know, a podcast has changed that for me. Like I at work, I always have the headphones, and it's all everybody's like, what are you listening? It's podcast. Like,
Yep.
what? Your own? I'm like, no, but I do listen to my own. I swear, when we hang out with all the podcasters, we always ask, do you listen to your own shit? And everybody's like, no. Justin and I were like, oh yeah, we listen to our shit all the time.
Do you guys listen to your...
Well, that's music, right?
I think
Yeah.
if
You
I
guys
need
have it on your
if I need
playlist.
so if I need to
Yes.
learn something, like if I'm playing music, like if I'm playing those songs and I want to go over it, then I'll listen to it. But honestly, listening to my own music is very, like, I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me, but it's really hard. So Immured, I wasn't really I came in at the very, very end of Immured. So for me, I wasn't involved with much of the recording of Immured, so I don't know all the stupid little issues that people ran into, all the little flubs that drove you crazy. So that one for me, I'm like, oh yeah, I could listen to this anytime. But I think the more involved I am with a recording, the harder it is to listen to it objectively, because you know every single thing you do. You know your equipment that you used, you know every issue you had in the studio, you know all of that minutia that, you know, a random person's ear is not going to pick up on. So for me, it's like very hard, but I do listen to recordings of myself performing and my own music, but it's such a different mindset. It's such like a critical mindset where you're thinking like, what could have I done better next time? Like, oh, I missed this thing, and no one's going to care about it, but you care about it because that's your focus, you know?
Have you ever recorded something? Because obviously when you record, you listen to it over. The way we did it with the band My Stage Exit that I was playing for, we would record what we thought it was a final product, but we wouldn't master it. We would take that home with us, and then we'd listen over and over and over again, and then we're like, I'd rather redo that. Do you guys do that too?
I do that.
Is there anything in these albums that you're like, I wish I didn't do that?
100%.
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh man, you're
So
opening a whole
Stagehound?
can of worms right now.
Okay. So put this in perspective. Stagehound, second record. I recorded all, 10 tracks?
10 tracks.
10 tracks. All of them in 12 hours.
I recorded my bass parts in 4, 5, 6 hours, something
Yeah.
like that. It's gnarly. It
We
was
had
a
very
gnarly
limited
experience, my
time
dude.
because we had a limited budget for it, and we could only afford so many days in the studio, and so we basically, before we even started recording, we had to look at, we have 8 total studio days for this album. That means 1 day for drums, half a day for bass, a day for rhythm guitars, a day for lead guitars, a day for vocals, and the rest is mixing, you know? And
we ran behind schedule. We had to pay for more recording
we ended
dates.
up, we ended up over
We did that
budget,
once
but-
too when I was playing in this Spanish band. We found this guy. I don't know who found him. All of a sudden we're like, yeah, he lives in Murray. I'm like, okay, so there we all went to Murray, and this was like my first time recording. So for all I knew was like, we're gonna get there, we're gonna play our 7 songs, and then we're done. Like our CD is like, here it is. And so I remember, and the guy had like a regular 9 to 5, and then he would do the record. He would be an engineer on the side.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we went to his house, and he just got out of work, and we're ready to jam. And then we started recording. We recorded the whole album. I think it was like 7 songs. And I remember at the end, I was looking at him, and he's like he's in his soundboard, and he's listening to and we're all like, let's see, where we can tweak it here or there. And then he was all like he was passing out, and I remember thinking, how unprofessional of this asshole to come over here and fall asleep. And then now that I think about it, when we recorded on my stage, it was more about, oh, we spend weeks doing this. Like I didn't know that.
And it's exhausting
It's
too.
exhausting,
Like,
yeah.
and you get like it's mentally exhausting, it's physically exhausting, but also like I think when you're recording, you get to this point where you stop being able to determine whether anything you've done is any good at all.
Yeah,
Because you've heard the songs and you've like there's times where you're recording a section over and over again, or maybe you're trying to like do some edit and you're listening to one bar 20 times and then you're like, is this better? And you're like, fuck, I don't know, I've been listening to this for 30 minutes and it's just like one bar over and over and over again. I can't tell whether it sounds good.
So for our newest record, I have a playlist of all of the most recent mixes that we've done, and I listen to those every day.
Same.
Or almost every day.
Same. I've heard the
'cause-
songs too many times.
Because I'm always listening to to find new ideas to add, find little parts that we could tweak in some way, find parts that like I'm not happy with, maybe we need to re-record something or do something, and it's very critical. But then like this morning I was taking the bus up the mountain to work and I was listening to some of our tunes and I was just like, this is fucking sick. And I was just like jamming out to my own stuff, just like, yeah, okay.
This drummer's awesome.
Dude, yeah, this drummer kicks fucking ass. Just having a good old time with it. I was like, all right, that's what it's all about. Like, because I've been listening to this music so long for like, and so critically, because we're in recording mode. But now that almost all of the instruments are laid out and they're done, like, there's a few things we can do here and there, but most of it's mixing. Almost everything left to
it's
do is
mixing and vocals, basically.
Vocals, and now I'm just like, cool.
Well,
Have you ever had like it seems like there's something that I noticed before I stopped playing playing in general, and also while I started doing this, do you guys deal with like, for example, sometimes it happens, it has happened here and it happens in other shows too, where there's a guy that says, oh, we should get this, we should get this equipment, and then there's another guy that goes, let's calm down a little bit. There's a couple podcasters, another podcast that we know. It's kind of like the same thing. One goes, oh, let's do this and let's do merch and let's do this, and then the other one, the one that goes, let's calm down a little. Let's just see if we can make this happen, and then we'll blow this up, and then we'll get to this next point. But how does it work when it's in a band? Do you guys ever had that? Like,
Riley does everything.
but it's
I have a really bad habit.
it's everybody's money or just Riley's?
Well, so when it comes to money, if the band is making money, then the band will pay for it.
Yeah.
Right.
If the band's not making money, then Riley will buy it for himself.
Yeah, basically that's the way it works. So I've accumulated a lot of gear.
But
yeah.
it seems like because I see it both ways. I understand that oh, this is not anything big now, so why spending the time and the money. But I also understand, like, coming from music, it got to a point where you couldn't rely on a producer going to Liquid Jaws to just be like, oh, these guys are fucking good, and the next thing I know you have a contract.
You gotta build or whatever.
You have to do it yourself. You have to, like, everybody is an artist now. Like, we have a successful podcast. You guys have a successful big band, if you ask me, and there's more like that, but it's more of the work that you guys have put in than just someone else saying, oh no, you guys are good.
I remember having this conversation years and years and years ago where we ended up running into, like, becoming really close friends with a bass player in a band that I loved since I was like 12, 13 or 14. I remember we had a conversation where, Riley, you said something where you were like, this guy doesn't feel like he's made it. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I've listened to this guy since I was 14 years old. Like, this guy's made it. And it's really hard because I think you're always, when you're in a band, it's this like constant progression of like, okay, you play this gig, now you're playing these gigs, now you're playing this thing that pays you more, now you're playing this show. And I think you're always like stepping up these little tiny steps. And so you get 10, 15 years down the line and you're like, oh, this isn't successful. But like in someone else's bubble, like that's a totally, like, you've made it. You've been doing what you love.
It almost feels like an endless spiral staircase, where you're looking 2 levels up at somebody that's up there, but they're looking 6 levels up at somebody above them.
And so I always try to keep that perspective. It's just like, if you love if you love playing music, just love playing music and don't sweat it so
Best
much.
thing that ever happened to me. I mean, when I was playing, I did the radio thing, the TV thing, like interviewing and stuff. But I play at Liquid Joe's and my stage open for Saliva, and I've said this before here like a couple times too. And we were obviously I go out and we play and I do my thing, and then I get out and there's this random guy that came up to me and he goes, "Hey, what's your name?" And I said, "Oh, Angel." And he goes, "Oh, my name is so and so." I cannot remember for the life of me. And he said the guys from the band, to Saliva, he said they told me I should come see you, but I missed you because as soon as he got there, I was done. I was walking my shit out, and I said, I apologize. I'm like, whatever. That's all the time we had. And he goes, "My name is so and so. I'm Saliva's drum tech."
Oh, nice.
And it's like, and the band, because apparently while we were playing, like one of the members would come in for like beer or whatever, and then say like, "Oh, this guy's all right," and whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yo, the guys from the band went and looked for me," and he goes, "Oh, you gotta go see this guy." For me, you gotta go see this drummer. And then he came up to he shook my hand. He's like, "Dude," he's like, "I'm so sorry. Are you coming tomorrow? Are you gonna stay around?" And I remember I didn't stick around. I didn't even see Saliva because I had to work the next day. So I literally just played. I did the drumstick mic and then the drumstick drop, and then I'm like, I'm out. And then this guy's like, "No, I'm Saliva's drum tech," and I'm like,
Yeah,
damn.
that day.
Dude, I wish. Well, when you're the primary operator, you're like, I can't just not show up.
True.
So now, going to Shuffle, which is the cover band. How long you guys been doing that for?
2018. And I know this because
Has it really only
I
been
formed
that
the
long?
LLC in 2018, and I had to send the business license off to somebody earlier today. So 2018.
Nice.
It really has it only. It's only been that long. Maybe we've just been
Well,
playing
we
covers for
formed
longer.
the LLC in 2018. We've
okay.
been,
Well, that
we were
was-
kind of doing it under a
Wasn't
different name
that
for a while.
our East Coast tour year?
Yeah, that 20. Yeah, 2018.
Yeah, it was 2018.
Yeah, because we
2018
used
was when
Shuffle
did
to
that
pay
last
for that
East Coast
tour,
thing.
and that was a gnarly experience.
So that tour was the tour where I had enough.
Once again, if
Yeah.
you pull up my Facebook, there's a video there. The last time I saw Shuffle was at the rooftop.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
with Matt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
played with
man.
you guys. Finally,
Good
I rocked the
times.
cowbell.
Good times.
And then
Oh,
I fucked
shit.
it up.
just off of Highland, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
my god, I got
man.
so drunk.
That guy wanted.
That was a good time. I felt like I was on a boat.
That guy. That
You
guy.
don't even drink.
And I don't even drink.
That guy was like he was saying, do you know of a band? I said, yeah, you gotta talk to these guys, and I think I gave him your number. You
did, yeah.
And then all of a sudden after he spoke with you guys, and I don't know if you guys met with him or whatever, he's like, oh, these are the guys that I wanted to get, but I had no idea their name. I have no idea how to get a hold of them. I said, well, there you go. And yeah, I guess the wife and I went there and we started eating some hors d'oeuvres, and then we go up to the top and there's
Here's the
Shuffle.
band.
Packed in a corner.
Yeah. Corner of a roof.
Yeah, it is. I was rocking the cowbell on
I
it.
remember that gig. That was a fun.
Yep.
I remember getting there and being like, I don't know what this gig is, and just having a fucking blast.
It was fun.
Yeah,
wasn't
It
was a
was
good
so
time.
much fun.
Now is that guy Jason always with you guys, or
Yeah, he's he has been our sound guy. He's not
On and
anymore.
off.
He got a job teaching audio engineering for Davis School District, so
okay.
he's not anymore. But yeah, he for about 3
Yeah, 'cause he
years
was
he
there.
came to every single gig. He was always running sound.
And we still chat with him like every day, basically.
Oh, yeah,
We're in like a
we're-
group text that is out of control.
Yeah, we just meme hard. It's a good time.
It's great.
But yeah, he was the fifth member
yeah,
of the band, or sixth member
Sixth
of
of
the
Shuffle.
band
So yeah.
yeah.
for a few years.
Kept things in order.
I remember sometime last year you guys made a comment. Oh, cause we're friends on Facebook too. After the rooftop, it's like, hey, my name is so and so. Oh, cool. And then we became Facebook friends. And he got sick, right? He got the vid.
He got COVID.
He was one of the first people in Utah, right? Like
Yeah,
first
one of the
20.
first confirmed cases.
Have you guys ever gotten who?
Yeah, I think
He's
I
been
know I had
confirmed.
it for sure.
I'm pretty sure that
Right,
we
it's like,
had
I got it
it.
right now.
So
currently,
so it's, when this first started breaking, we were playing a gig up in Deadwood, South Dakota, and I remember being super fucking weird because we had all left our homes. Like I'm not like you know, like I leave my wife in our apartment, peace out to go play a gig, and then like the whole fucking world burns down and can't find toilet paper, and we're just playing this bar gig. Well, we're playing like this bar gig, and I remember like I was just like, are they gonna like shut down state borders? Like, what the fuck is going on right now? It was
we were sitting
weird.
up in a cabin in the Black Hills of South Dakota, like playing 4 hours a night for a week, and we were just chilling at this cabin, like reading the news, just like, oh my god, all this shit's happening, and we're like, all right.
Just chilling every day.
Cool. This is
Well,
this is
because where
fun.
we were, it was normal. Like South Dakota, they didn't care. They weren't shutting schools down or businesses down. Nobody was talking about masks or any of that stuff there.
And I feel like even though I wouldn't say we shut down, we slowed down. I would say that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
it
I don't
was-
like we still went out and ate and.
But
know,
there was about a month where nothing was open. There was about a month, like it was from
Yeah.
like March 16th until middle April, when you literally couldn't even go to get takeout from most restaurants for a while. It was hardcore for a little bit.
I will say this never shut down, and the people that we
Oh, the Arts Alliance, the building,
the podcast, like we never
Oh,
did
the
we never
yeah.
did the Zoom thing or nothing.
Nice.
It was always like Justin and I,
Oh,
and
'cause
then
it's just a couple of you,
and then
right?
when we invited people, and they were like, yeah, they would do, unless it was Riley. It was like,
yeah, you know, I'm sorry.
Yo, how about Riley? I said, dude, you guys gonna come to the podcast or what? He goes, yeah. Let me talk to these guys, and then he comes back to me. He goes, yeah, we're not performing, right? And I'm like, performing? Like, who do you think I'm, Jimmy Fallon? I'm like, what do you think this is carpool karaoke? What's wrong with you?
Don't worry, we're playing Advent tunes on children's toy like instruments,
that'd be
dude.
so
Well,
cool.
Mike's got a drum kit on his phone. You've got
That's
a
true.
bass on your phone.
I was gonna say we've done way too many shows
sing
though, where
over it.
people are like, "Yeah, come play," and it's like us
Come
playing
play
on
on
our
our radio
acoustic
show.
instruments.
yeah.
We're
Like
just like,
that-
"Fuck,
that's-
we don't know what we're doing. This ain't rock and roll."
That's happens a lot of times. I remember like we went on the radio right before we played the Kansas Leonard Skinner show, and they wanted us to play some songs.
So that was one show, Kansas Leonard.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
okay.
one show, and they wanted us to come perform on what was that, K-Bear?
How are you
or
guys?
whatever?
How are you guys on?
Oh, I'm good.
Chilling.
Okay.
I'm actually going
Sipping.
to run and hit the bathroom really quick.
Oh, do we have to stop talking?
Check out this guy. No, go ahead.
Riley, how dare you?
I haven't had a tea
Again, Riley, who do you think you are?
Get the
Watch the
fuck
cables.
out of here.
Yeah, it's just dead space
gotta
for
wear
the
your
next
mask.
2 minutes, dude.
We'll
Mask.
wait for you.
Riley.
We'll wait.
Get it. Put it on your face. Okay, bye. All right.
Yeah,
Anyway, now that he's here, we can
Oh,
talk
dude.
shit on him.
Dude, I will say, now that he's not LDS, it's kind of a little loose. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And
'Cause
especially the
definitely-
last few years, he's just like loosened up. I think a lot more, just
Is he
generally.
swear? I never hear him swear.
Very, very occasionally, but it's not common
No.
at all.
When shit goes south, he'll be like,
I remember there was
Aw,
one time Riley
dang.
said,
He's
"Are-"
like, balls.
there was one time where Riley said,
Frick.
"Are we fucked?" And when he said, "Are we fucked?" I was like, "Oh shit, are we fucked?"
We might be totally fucked.
yeah, no, if he gets to that point, you know shit's going down. You 100% know. Like if he says fuck, you're like, oh my god, is someone
shit's
dead?
going down.
Is someone dead? Do I have to get out my knife and stab
Didn't
some
you say
bitches?
one of the
Like,
times he swore and said fuck was because the odometer went over and he didn't get
yes,
a picture of
yeah.
it?
No, Riley and I were on the phone, and he was driving around, I think his Camaro or some shit, and he was trying to time the amount of times he had to stop for gas with his speedometer going over 200,000 miles. So he would stop for gas at exactly 200,000 miles. And we were on the phone at the time, and we were just like chatting about a gig that we had or something, and I just hear him go, fuck! And I was like, Riley, what's wrong? I'm at 200,001 miles! I was just like, the fuck is wrong with you, brother? Like, you use your one fuck a year to complain about your speedometer being over, or your odometer. What the fuck? It was great.
You're married, right?
Yeah.
You got kids?
No.
Dude, he's got like 5
You gotta
kids.
convince my wife to have kids. I'd be willing to have kids, but she's like, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, she's a keeper.
And
dude.
she's like, that changes shit. She's like, life is easy right now. We get to do what the fuck we want. And I'm like, yeah, see, I like this.
How long have you been married?
Oh God, 4 or 5. We've been living together for 10, 11 years.
Okay.
Smart one in the relationship.
So
True.
You want to have kids, huh?
I'd be willing to have kids, but I think it would really have to just be like the right situation. And like also I love my being able to do whatever the hell I want right now. So
Yeah, see?
that's chill.
I got a vasectomy done. That's how much I
Nice.
don't want kids.
Oh,
You still with your girlfriend?
Oh yeah.
Not married yet.
Nope. Not married. No kids. She's a school teacher, so she definitely doesn't want.
How old are you now?
How old? 29.
29.
Yeah.
Damn. How old were you when you? How old would you say you were when I met you? Well, you say right? Barely
20, 21.
Barely 21. Yeah.
And you married, right?
Yes.
And you got one.
Two.
Two in
kids.
a week or two.
Oh, okay. No, way
Any
to
day
lock
now.
that up, dude.
Any day now.
And then what? Having more?
Oh no. No.
You gotta get a vasectomy.
Just because I live in Utah.
vasectomy,
man.
dude.
Well, now that you mention that, I mean, what do you think? Let's
I got
take a
it
poll.
done. We have this thing going on the podcast. It's called Team Bust Nuts, and I'm the captain because I don't have any kids of my own, and I got it done because I don't.
So you don't want to.
No.
Right.
But my wife has 3 though, and they're old, and it was like a whole thing that happened because I think that I got married too soon or too young, I would say, and then she's older than me by 25 years. I'm just kidding. But when we got married, she was like, if we're gonna have kids, it's gonna have to be pretty soon. And I was in the mentality of, well, I'm young and I just got married, so I'm gonna wait for kids. And then while we waited, her kids were older and older, or got older, and so we were like, why going back to square one? And then she actually fought me for a minute. It's like, you really not gonna have kids? I'm like, I'm good.
Like kids got to leave the house at some
I
point,
was
right?
like, I don't, and I don't regret it. So far, I don't. But I mean, I'll be 39 in May, and I still don't regret it.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I think that life is what you make of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and having kids isn't necessarily like a cornerstone of what makes a good life,
yeah.
right? Like, and there's a lot of people that I know that I think should not be parents.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I think that too many people have kids because they think they
Should be more
right?
selective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
announcement is brought to you
Don't
by
go down this
Advent
path.
Horizon.
But
No, I think everybody just has to decide for themselves, is it right for me to have kids? Don't
Yeah.
let the social pressures be the thing that make you do that, you know?
I will say, I do have a story. I have a tale to tell.
Okay.
Tail.
When Riley told us that his wife was pregnant, we were on a flight. Where were we flying home
we were
from?
from
Portugal.
back
Yo,
from Portugal.
Yeah,
Did
you
you
got
guys,
so
did you guys think that the band was gonna break up?
Yeah, straight
He
up.
got so drunk on the plane.
Wasted.
Okay, so
He did.
so Mike
I
got
remember
fucking hammered on the plane. We're flying back from Portugal. This was like probably not the biggest in terms of people show that we've played, but I would say, I mean, we were playing internationally. You know what I mean? Like that
flew out
That felt
first class,
good. We flew first
business
class.
You guys
To
played
Portugal.
in Portugal?
We played in
Yeah.
Portugal.
Jesus
We like
Christ.
in business class. We like sat in the chairs that lay down into
Yeah.
beds and shit. 4-course meals. Like it.
was
Who makes this
bougie.
happen though?
Our sugar daddy.
Riley and our sugar daddy Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I've been hearing about this guy forever.
He's,
I don't even know.
he's such a good dude though.
Yo,
we
but
love
how do you
Dave.
make this happen, Riley?
we meet people, man. You get
Yeah.
connections,
And
you work
we-
them, you just, I don't know. I've always wanted to, I don't know what the best way to put it is. I don't want to say I use people, but I want to get to know
Kinda just said
people,
that.
and I want to. Well, I've always felt like anything I can offer to somebody, I want to offer that.
Yeah.
And in return, I want to use whatever I can that people are willing
Yeah.
to work. You know, I want to live my
very
life in trade of
business-minded.
services, right?
Yeah. Very
And
capitalist
so
of you.
anytime I meet somebody, I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is a cool person. I'd like to get to know them better. What are the things that I can offer them, and in turn, what are the things they can offer me?
Riley's
And it
like,
just
how do I
works
scratch their
into-
balls, and how
Yeah,
can they
like-
scratch
I wanna
mine?
get to
You know what I
know
mean?
Yeah,
Like you got
that's
niche.
the way. That's
Yeah.
I'm.
Dude.
Like if they got some 3-person buddy pass to Portugal, let me.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
Straight up, actually.
So when
No,
you
it's-
guys found out they were pregnant,
oh my
Dude,
god.
he got super fucking hammered on the plane. I remember I was
Yeah.
like, we got to keep this shit together. Like, we're flying on the plane. Mike gets drunk, and we have my phone with GarageBand, and I think you had your phone too.
Yeah.
And we were being the most fucking obnoxious people on the goddamn
So
plane. We had like
we were riding
GarageBand
beats
going.
and shit. Because I was just like, I was blacked out at this point. But I remember, I have a very distinct memory of us being on one of the connecting flights home. I think it was like Phoenix to here. I was just tanked to shit.
You were
And we each had a headphone in GarageBand, just writing beats, just like
This is like
The plane is all.
this is like the end of the flight. So this is like, you know,
It's a late
12:30 in the
flight,
morning for
too,
people.
yeah, like-
I remember them coming by and they're like, another drink, and you're like, fuck yes. And I remember somebody in like a couple rows next to us just fucking sighing. I remember them just being so fucking
Well, and we're in
annoyed.
first class for this too. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like, you know, like we're with all these highbrow like business people, and these two are just like,
We're like, yeah,
partying it
just
up.
getting
dude, that
wasted.
fucking
Man.
synth is sick, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking throw it in there.
Yeah, but like
Drunk.
But it was funny because like
That would be like literally traveling with kids.
yeah. So, but like to tie it back to the conversation, like I got drunk and I got really fucked up because like I was scared. I was really afraid of what was going to happen because Riley is the playmaker, right? Like Riley is the chief commando of
Yeah.
the band. And I was like, man, having kids changes you. Like it 100% changes you. No, it doesn't. It's like whatever you make of it. Because
Yeah, exactly.
like Riley, like you have a lot of time dedicated to your family, but you're still very goal oriented.
Yeah.
So like if you want to do something, you're gonna do it. Like this album that we're making, we're recording it in his basement, and like he'll call me, be like, "Hey, we're recording vocals. Come on over." Oh wait, it has to be after 4 because she's taking a nap. Right?
Right.
So like that's really the only thing that's changed.
And if it's a
And-
priority for you, you make time. You know,
Yeah.
that's how music is. Like if you want to do it, doesn't matter like what's in your way, you just figure it out. And I mean, I don't know how many times I came over to your house over the weekends to record bass or synths or piano for months and months and months. So
And also having the support of your wife and girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
for
means
sure.
a lot.
That's
like
huge.
I
That's
got, you know,
huge.
one of the reasons why I've been able to do this for so long is because the wife has been always like, do your thing, who cares, you know. And 111 this is episode 111. It's been 100.
I saw 3 tally marks on the
Yeah, but
board, and I
listen,
was like,
this-
3?
this
Huh?
has
Is this the
been-
3rd episode?
No, I'll give you one better. It's 111 weeks non-stop
damn, dude.
Wow,
for
man.
2 years. We just celebrated our 2 years, 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
That's
Hell yeah.
badass.
Yeah.
So there was a time where I was like, I just like wanted to do shit on the internet, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what the YouTube thing is like. That shit's hard. Doing a podcast, doing things like YouTube streaming, it's not easy work. And I remember doing it solid for 3 months and being like, fuck, this is too much. Like I gotta be on a schedule. I have like uploads.
We had the first episode, not the first episode, but the first episode that we did with Becca Hayes. I don't know if you guys know her, just this girl from used to work at the radio station. She had this podcast, and then we just barely jumped from just audio to video. A guy let us borrow that camera right there you see underneath that table.
Oh, yeah.
And it was because he came to do our show, and this room was completely empty, and it was just a sign and a long table and 2 chairs. That's all we had, and equipment enough to have 2 microphones, and maybe we'll split one and have a third. You know, that's all we could have is 1 guest. And now we're set up to do, you know, whatever we want. But she came and she started asking, and she goes, well, because so he gets it done for me, and then I do a little bit of editing. It's gone down a lot since he joined, but I was telling that to her. I said, well, since I started doing video, and this is back when he wasn't around, I said, I went from doing a 20-minute editing to like an hour and a half. And she was like, fuck that
Yep.
shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but you have to. And now she's a little lazy, but she has someone else doing it because but it's what you have to do now.
and it's work. Like you're just like, oh yeah, we'll just record, like set something up, have guests record, and you're like, oh yeah, see, that'll be easy. And then you forget you've got to edit that shit,
Yeah.
you've got to upload that shit, and like obviously you're gonna spend some time listening to it and be like, oh, did we fuck up levels?
Yeah.
Like
And then I go home, and so the episodes drop every Monday morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning. And
Oh, this isn't live?
no, dude, sorry. and also the video, but then as the week goes on, and because I listen, then I pull out clips, and so I edit those
Yep.
clips, and then I do this, and then I put like a funny, you know, minute and a half of just a clip, just as I cut it and I edit it, and I put it all in Instagram. And we got all of our videos. We have more videos and photos and Instagram, but so we're always doing something when it comes to.
He's always.
And now we got, you know, we've had 3 sponsors so far.
Nice.
Now we got Happiest Cbd joining
Oh,
us.
hell
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Good.
And the guy, that was another reason I was talking about being LDS, because he's LDS, but he's all about, well, he owns this CBD, and then he goes, and us being LDS, we had him as a guest, and he's like, oh yeah, I've been judged, I've been criticized, and I've been
for
done
sure.
this and that, and he says, the minute marijuana gets legal, I'm going in.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, I'm buying my own shit and I'm selling my own. I'm like, good for you, man. But he's sponsoring us and like 7 other podcasts. I mean, he has
cool.
his shit together.
That's
you know?
awesome.
That's really cool.
So we've had a DB and Buddha here.
Nice.
The owner of Wise Guys, Keith.
Oh, cool.
That's yeah.
Oh, shit.
And you know what? The cool thing about that is like we did that at Wise Guys. He's like, you guys want to do it here? We're like, fuck yeah.
Nice.
We just sat there.
Did you just like have a pizza and?
No,
Yeah.
but you know what was funny? It was we did it on a Wednesday and it was open mic. So
Nice.
as we sat down with the sign behind him and all the pictures of the comedy legends, there was people going in.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, the music was so loud. I'm like, are we gonna be able to hear? Like in the middle of the recording,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to hear what we're saying. And like, no one fucking pay attention to me. But it turned out good. But he was like, but now I go to Wise Guys. He's like, hey, what's going? Like he remembers.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I want to have him again. He was supposed to be here a few weeks ago for our 2-year, but he had like you know who Andrew Schultz is, comedian. He had like 4 sold out shows. So he's like, I'm that's fine.
Can't do it, yeah.
Do it another time, but.
Nice.
What's next for all of the bands?
All of the bands.
So, High Octane is another one. Mm-hmm. It's so funny because I was texting you today because people are listening to us on our phones. And I was texting you today, and as soon as I finished texting you, I got this notification that says High Octane that you might know is on Instagram.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, who's that? And I always look. I'm like, oh, there's this guy.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's our buddy Dave.
Okay.
And that's his group. So Dave lives in Santa Monica, California, and what other Santa Monica? And we met him at Sundance Film Festival several
Okay.
years ago, and he saw us playing at Sundance as Advent, and he came up to me after the show and gave me his business card and said, hey, I want to talk to you about hiring you guys to be my backing band when I play in Utah, because he has an LA band that he plays with, but every time he wants to play in Utah, he's got to fly all his guys up here, and you play a bar in Park City, you don't make enough money to cover airfare for 4 people.
Also, those guys in
Yeah.
LA,
So-
they work hard. Like all of them are full time, so they're working in projects where they're working in the studio and in multiple bands, and they're coaching bands, and they're doing all
Right.
this work. And
They're
sometimes,
full-time.
David wants to book a show, and it's like these guys have busy schedules, and 1 or 2 of them won't be free, and he'll be like, "Hey, come down to LA, we'll fly you out."
Yeah, so he took us out to coffee a few days later and said, hey, so I've got this band. It's a 90s rock tribute band, so it's all Weezer and Jimmy Eat World and Smash Mouth and Green Day and stuff.
90s, 2000s
And-
pop rock hits.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, do you guys? You don't have to answer this. Do you guys make money out of every project?
Not the original
Advent
stuff.
least
I
of
don't
all.
sweat.
Advent least of all.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Advent's
yeah,
the one
the
they make
original
the
else,
least with.
yes.
but-
Original music, like, I don't. If you're getting into original music to make money, you're probably not getting into original music for the right reasons. Like
Yeah.
even bands that are moderately successful right now, like well known within their own genre, if they're not a major pop artist, not a major hip hop artist, not very well known, but just like in their scene, they're making like middle class income. They're not making a shit ton
at
of money.
most.
Like they're making
Like
20, 30, 40,000 a year, maybe.
The biggest artists that all of the big like millionaire pop stars are millionaires because of endorsements, not because of the music.
So it's just
And
it's in a weird place.
Touring is a big thing too, right?
Like, a lot of bands-
Basically, it's everything else but music.
Yeah.
But the CDs. Or
Yeah,
the albums.
exactly. Like a lot of bands,
CDs.
especially a lot of
My
metal
bad,
bands.
My 90s. My bad.
What
My
is a
CDs.
CD? What, a tape? What the fuck? No, but like a lot of bands, especially metal, make their money on the road because they're selling t-shirts.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's how they make their money. They're not making their money from their music. And it's very, very hard as an original artist to make money off of your art.
Such a
Yeah, I don't-
roundabout way to make money off of clothing too.
Yeah.
I know.
Such a roundabout way to be a clothing seller.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Did
Like,
you guys continue doing
You're a
it?
t-shirt.
You're
You're
like-
a t-shirt company.
yeah, like I'm actually a
Exactly.
t-shirt company.
Not a
I just
band.
have a band to
Yep.
sell them with.
yep.
That's so true.
Oh my God, the CD comes with the shirt. Oh, sick.
So any plans for?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, so Advent's new album will be later this year. It's been a long process. We've really taken our time recording this album. I mean, we have the luxury of, we are now, over the last decade, I've slowly built up a good enough studio that we can produce some good sounding stuff. And so we're really taking our time making sure every part is just right. And it'll be later this year, and we're excited. We have some things in the pipeline. We've got some really cool guest artists that are
what I do for a
semi
living.
well known in the prog
pipeliner.
rock world, at least, that
Yeah.
are joining us. And we're hoping
Can we drop any names?
Yeah, but I mean, the names aren't going to mean anything to these guys. They're not
mean-
prog nerds like us.
The fuck does that mean?
Is that see? That's what I
Are you
mean. Though.
judging?
That's what I mean. We are.
Here,
Okay.
hold on.
There you go.
Oh,
That's
shit.
fine. Oh man. Oh man.
You do and say whatever you want. So
Yeah, so there's a band called Spock's Beard that we've become friends with over the last many years, and they're like mid-tier prog
Local?
rock band. No, they're pretty big.
They're international.
They're
but they're
international. They
progressive
have
rock. So
they've been playing since
yeah.
the early 90s, and they have like 16 albums,
Okay.
and they've got
Also-
a couple of their albums have charted decently well, especially over in Europe. And so like they're the type of band that they're touring in Europe and playing to a couple thousand people a night in mid-sized rooms. That type of band. And so they're excellent too, like world-class musicians and just really cool guys. And so the bass player from Spock's Beard is playing bass on one of our songs for this new
It's
album.
always really funny to me that our first inclination with like knowing Dave and him being on our record is to talk about Spock's Beard, when it's probably more recognizable that he's currently the bass player for Iron Butterfly,
That's right, for
who's the
Iron
band who did
Butterfly.
Inagata Davida, if you're not familiar with
Oh,
the
I
band's
just
name.
heard that
Player
song
for
coming
them.
on
So
the way
he
here.
also-
So Dave
for a
didn't
while-
record that song with them, but he is currently their live bass player. So, but I know him from Spock's Beard. I was like,
Right.
Iron Butterfly, I don't
That's
fucking
true,
know that.
Iron
And someone
Butterfly,
said,
I always forget
someone
that.
said Inagata Davida, and I was like, oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so
Well,
weird.
and the other one that he also played for a while with the Animals, touring with them.
Also, Ryo Okamoto is the keyboard player for that weird
for the Eric Andre show.
for the Eric
Oh,
Andre
you know
show.
what? I
So-
fucked up. It wasn't that song. You know what song it was? I'm on a Mexican radio. Have you heard that song?
That was very entertaining to hear you sing that just now,
It
though.
sounds just like that because it's Inagata Davida. The guy didn't know how to say it, right? Because he was in the garden on Eden.
I mean, like
assume
the
that's what
legend
it's
is
supposed
that
to
he
be.
was super
Eden.
drunk in the studio and he was just slurring everything. I don't know
he
if
was
that's
in the
true or
Garden
not,
of
but
Eden. That's what
it's
he was.
supposed to be in the
Yeah,
Garden
it's
of
supposed to be.
Eden,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They
See, I
got
know
it
my
Davida.
shit.
Yeah, and there's that Simpsons episode
guys.
where
This is
where
the
Bart
first time
switches
you
the
sung on
music.
this episode, too.
Fuck this. Yeah, that's true, dude.
You're in the building with musicians.
Every single episode, so like we would say something to each other over a guest, and it triggers into a song. Like like I think that one of the big ones that we've done, he was talking to me and he goes, you know, I wake up in the morning and I just went, and I raise my rairy hair, and we just went full on of like which like, and then we just dead on stop and we're like, anyway, what were you saying? But we've done it for 111 episodes.
Have you had a spontaneous Bohemian Rhapsody yet?
No.
See, I mean,
No.
maybe now's the time.
But then it's not spontaneous.
But then it's not spontaneous.
Yeah,
no,
you
You
we
just
can't.
ruined it.
You
right?
ruined it.
It's
Yeah.
true.
You just ruined all the chances of us making this
Hey,
cool.
Oh
Before-
man, what was it? Don't say stage dive, just do it.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
don't say stage freeze, just do it.
Hey,
Stage freeze, that's
Before
what it
we
is.
go, there's one thing that we do with all the guests that come here. Okay, and you guys gotta give me a kiss. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Damn.
What
COVID
is-
friendly.
Right on the
Love it.
lips.
What is your guys' individually man crush? Because this podcast is all about to find a gay.
I think Mike and I are going to say the same person.
Wait, are we?
I mean,
Looking in your eyes when you
They're like Angel.
Angel.
Angel,
Definitely.
well,
Have you seen that?
I'm going to be
face?
honest. You're up there. You're up there.
Clap
You
them
know, I know you're
cheeks,
full
bro.
of shit. Who?
Man crush. Man crush. Who would I have a man crush on? I mean,
I'm a Brad Pitt lady.
so Flavor of the month, Henry Cavill.
Oh
We're
shit!
not gonna say the same person then, because I don't know who that is.
You'll know who he
Oh,
is.
Superman?
Yep. But
that
him in
Jim
The Witcher.
Carrey?
Oh, I
him in The
see.
Witcher.
I
all
see
right?
you. I see
Yeah.
you.
Oh, is he the?
He,
Okay.
he's a big, muscly boy that
Is he
can handle
Geralt?
me. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's Geralt.
Ah, okay, cool.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
God damn,
Oh my.
Mike.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
Get
Like,
yourself.
he's a man, okay? Like, ain't nobody gonna touch this unless they a man.
What about Kaysen?
So no body shaming here. Dad bod Donald Glover.
Donald.
Like homeless looking Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Like, this is America, Donald
Yeah,
Glover.
yeah.
Oh, like
Childish Gambino.
Childish
Yeah.
Gambino. There he is.
Yeah, see, but he's too
He's too clean.
He's too
He's
clean
too
here.
preppy.
All right, third
Look at
on the
him
bottom
Is
left.
that him in the beard, the white beard at the bottom?
Probably.
Yeah, that's the
yeah,
one.
Yeah, there
that's
we go.
the one right there.
Have you
Yeah.
seen that video? This is America when he's all.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
That's
Funny.
the look.
Yep.
Oh yeah, see.
Yep.
see?
There it is.
Yeah.
That's the look.
I'll
Oops,
give
that's
it
where
to me.
my-
Oh, that's good.
That's where my Viagra comes up.
Take your pill.
Yeah,
Angel.
no shit. What about you?
Well, mine's not nearly as cool now. I lose. I lose. I had one and now it's nothing.
Now you're fascinated.
Can't follow
Okay,
up.
look
dad
up
bod.
for me, Daniel Gildenlow.
All right, okay. Yeah, he's hot as
okay,
fuck.
yeah, sure. You got that Euro thing going.
Gilden.
No, Daniel.
So Daniel, you got Daniel right. Gilden.
Gil. What else?
Den.
Den.
Oh, there we
There it
go.
is,
Top
first
one.
one.
Daniel
Yeah.
Gildenlow, top one.
Yeah, this.
He's a Swedish musician. He's probably the best singer you'll ever hear in your life.
True.
Dude, you
And
got the
also
Euro
he's-
thing going on,
also
Riley.
he's-
I
yeah,
didn't know
he's
you were
very- that's
into
him right
Euro
there.
man
Oh,
Oh,
babes.
look
guy.
at that.
The man bun.
That's
Yep.
man bun,
I'm a little
huh?
concerned about myself now. Got to change my
I know,
look.
Jason, you're
I'm
you're
looking
probably
too
the
homeless.
closest
I mean-
one in the band to
I mean,
him.
this makes sense though because this is what Riley wants to be.
It's true.
He's
it's
just
very
like,
true.
I would love to fuck myself in the future.
Hey, by the way, we were talking about this the other day and on the podcast, and we started thinking maybe we should make it a thing. Deadpool. Who do you think is going next when it comes to musicians? I came up with.
Ooh.
Oh
shit! That's a dangerous game to play.
I said Ozzy.
Oh, he's never gonna die though.
Yeah.
He's never. No, he is so. He is.
You watch.
His blood is formaldehyde. Okay, like he will not die.
I know it's shitty. You know what? You want to know what? You want to know what shitty this is? How shitty this is? We were here back again when we had the table and the two people. We had the guy that let us borrow that, and we all of a sudden it was so organic. We were just talking shit, and we started talking shit about Kobe Bryant.
Oh no.
We recorded Friday. He passed away that Sunday.
no.
So I had to put something on there like, hey, just so you guys know. And then in that same episode, we talk about pot smoke. Mm-hmm. And he ended up dying too, like pretty soon after Kobe, I think. I don't know.
Yep.
But I was just like,
You
So now
curse.
we-
So it's you.
So
it's
we-
fucking
Yeah,
you.
So when we
Yeah.
do this,
So
you're
when
telling
we-
me the person's gonna die, so I
know
should.
what?
Grim Reaper.
you know who else I said after he came out basically crying? Bam Margera.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, he's been having a
Right?
rough time right now.
Meanwhile, Steve was like,
Steve-O's like-
hold my money, bud.
Exactly. Steve was like, I'm organic now.
That's another guy that joined Team Bust Nuts. He didn't have
Yeah.
any kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
So you guys don't want to say, huh? You don't want to feel guilty?
All right, here's the thing though. All of the musicians that you think are gonna die are old
Live forever.
or they live forever, right? Like, so you could say like, yeah, I think this old fuck is gonna die because they're 90.
Yeah.
But like every other musician you think is like in the prime of their life might die in a bus accident,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So like, it's I don't know, man.
From the Rolling Stones. All right, it's
Keith Richards. Yeah, that dude will go forever.
He'll never
good. People
die.
will live forever.
Yeah, straight up.
Stay
So like,
right.
I could say musicians that I don't like.
Yeah, that's kind
you're
of
gonna
all I
curse
can
them,
think
yeah.
of to do.
That you want gone?
Hey, you want to die?
All right, what's on my list?
Who's
Hold
that?
up.
Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Fucking, you know what they say about snitches, right?
I'm just, you guys don't have to. We're testing it, but obviously we're sick-minded. We're like, yeah, this guy, but people might not be like, I don't want to say. That's fucked up.
It scares me because the only ones I can think of are people that I love, or musicians that are like
On
influences, you know.
Yep.
Like I want to say, I would be likely to say Stevie Wonder, but I
Oh,
don't
don't
want to
say
say
that.
Stevie
Ooh,
Wonder.
yeah.
Like I don't want, but I just
See,
said
that's the
it, and
problem.
that's the
That's
problem.
Stevie's fine.
You know?
Stevie's
Like,
fine. Stevie's doing just
Stevie's
fine.
got to be fine because
He's fine. He sees.
the world can't. Well, and also I just learned like a week ago that Stevie's way younger than I thought he was, and that's a good
Yeah,
thing.
which is
Yeah.
70,
Because
right?
he was,
We
he
just
was
looked it
only
up.
like 9 when he
Yeah,
dropped
when he got
his first album.
when he got
Just talking about
famous,
this.
he was
Yeah.
super young when he got famous.
Yeah, yeah.
Super
Right,
fucking young when he
so
got famous.
He's only in his mid 60s now
He's
or
70
something.
now.
Or is he late
Yeah,
60s?
we just
then?
looked this up like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, okay. So he's got some time.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
was
we make fun of me because I think I'm losing my hair,
Yeah, 70.
and so now I'm gonna do
Okay.
like the dreads like over here, like his dreads start
Oh,
like right
dude.
here.
Yep.
You got to
Or
make a
braids.
Stevie tribute.
Screw you. That doesn't mean I'm happy to have this hair. It's just like too painful to cut it.
Do that hairdo right there.
Have
Yeah.
you
Ah,
guys
dude, see?
have you guys seen any
That's
of
a
the
mullet, dude.
Have you guys seen any of the videos of people trying to shake Stevie's hand and they forget that he's blind? That shit never ceases to crack me up.
videos out there where
He like catches the mic as it's falling
Right.
over, and I'm like, homie.
Didn't I just say that?
Yeah.
You know, he pulled up to someone's house in a car one time just to fuck with them. he's like, I'm here, come down.
There's a
He did the Eddie Murphy joke.
there's a podcast that we know that
Hey, fucking
he
you want to impress me? Fucking take the wheel.
there was a podcast that we know, famous guy that he talks about. The rumor is that he was in an elevator, and Shaq came in, and he was like, "What's up, Shaq?" Shaq was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, dude. And I've seen that video when he catches the. Did you see the? Oh, I've mentioned this before, on the MTV Movie Awards, where I think the biggest movie was Wild Wild West, and
Yeah.
Will Smith came out. Will Smith, Cisco, and then they were playing his song. Is Wild Wild West Superstition?
No.
It's
not-
a song though. I remember because they sample
Because
something.
he was singing, because he was there, and at the end, everybody's like Wild Wild West, it's like hey, and so everybody walks out, and the only person that stays there is just Stevie, and his piano is all. like everybody walks out before the curtains close. He's just like little help. He's just sitting there. It's like it's the most.
Oh,
it's
it's
the
I
saddest
wish.
thing
It is, I
ever.
wish.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah,
see?
makes sense.
Well, it's
Told
like
ya.
everyone's always talking about like Gangster's Paradise, but that's like a commentary on what's the Stevie
Pastime
song?
Paradise.
Pastime Paradise, which was parodied by Weird Al. So it's
Yeah.
like now we're like 3 layers deep, right? You got the
Yeah,
Stevie
for sure.
song. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say to your fans who haven't heard from, like this guy right here that hasn't heard from you in a while?
We've been radio silent for since see how it says new single out now right there.
That was like
that
this
was
one?
2017.
3 years ago.
That was 2017. That was 4 years this month. 4 years
hold
ago
on.
that went up.
Is it so? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it 2 albums you have or 3 albums you have out?
2 albums, and then Tequila
This EP.
Mockingbird was just a 2-track
Oh,
thing
okay.
that we released.
Yeah, I don't fuck with those. Give me a,
but
give
it's
me a
better
whole
than
thing.
either
Give me
of
that
those
bullshit.
albums.
Is it really?
I don't know. I really like Tequila and Humboldt. Humboldt specifically is the
Humboldt
song
is
that
a
went
great
along
song.
with that.
It's a very good song.
I'm actually sad we didn't wait and put Humboldt on a later album because
Yeah.
Humboldt, in my opinion, is like one of the best things we've ever done.
Yeah.
But it's just
Tequila Mockingbird
On its
is
own
like
a thing.
it was a fun thing that we were trying.
yeah, Tequila
More
was
than anything else,
We
it
were
was like a
trying to
fun
go in
experiment.
like this gritty 70s esque like deep purple blues rock direction.
Where are you gonna add brass to?
I want to put brass on one of the songs
There
on the new
will
album.
be some
some.
brass.
You
on
guys,
this
you guys have
album.
your
I
instruments.
convinced him. See now.
You have-
There will
you have
be
a
a little
trombone?
bit.
Yeah, there'll be
But
low
it's-
brass on a
It's
song.
brass in the most metal way possible.
Yes.
So the new album is a lot more metal, but it also has a lot more chill musical ambiance.
And the chill songs are actually some of my favorite songs on the record. Like the high energy songs, don't get me wrong, I think are super sick. But like some of the chill songs that we've put on there, I think are some of the cooler things that we've done. So I'm pumped for it, man.
yeah,
So
it's gonna be sick.
Watch out for the new album. We're sorry for being silent for so long.
We were
but
trying to make money.
We were
making
Trying to make money on a regular
trying to make
job.
money. Yeah, exactly. We were trying to find a way to make it so that Advent didn't have to be a chore. We've always wanted Advent to be just pure creative expression and nothing else. no expectations. Because I feel like that's when you make the best art, is when you can't sit down and say, I'm going to write a song today. That doesn't work with art. You have to be inspired to make a song. And it takes time, you can't rush art.
True.
So
This is the first promotional stop for the new album.
This is the
yeah.
first time.
when you guys get it up and going, this is your house.
Yeah, exactly,
Dude.
man. We'll come back. We'll
We will
promote it hard.
preview.
You'll
We
get
will
it.
preview some songs.
Yeah.
Preview. There we go. We'll come back like
And we're-
before we release any singles.
And I
we'll-
apologize because I know that obviously I want to have all of you guys, but I know that I've known you guys the longest, and we only have 4 microphones. You know what I mean?
So,
We're working on things.
Grant is a part of the band,
Yeah. Who's that? I'm just kidding.
but we're the band. That's all I gotta
you
say.
3 or you 2?
Yeah, us 3 are the band.
Yeah.
We're the
No,
band.
Riley didn't do any work.
Yeah, right. Those two, nothing.
Those two are the bands.
Just put them in
we're
the
the
front.
band.
Next time I'm not going to be here, by the way. It's
just us.
It'll
It's
be a
just
more
us.
interesting
Dude, it's
podcast
pure
for sure.
alcohol and cocaine when you guys come back.
Mike played the guitar.
We'll have the band mom to watch.
And hey, next time you guys come back, no performance, all right? Like we're not, just
Dude, I'll bring my cajon, okay?
this guy. We're not performing, right? I'm like, I don't know if you can.
You don't
fit
know how
anything
many
in.
times we've been booked to
Have
do.
you guys done a podcast before?
We've
Yes,
we've done
podcasts and radio.
podcasts, we've
Get
done
out.
radio shows.
Just kidding.
There have been
All right, bye.
there have been multiple times though where I signed us up whatever to do a podcast or a radio show, and we just assumed there wouldn't be performance, and we showed up and they're like, "Hey, where's your gear? You didn't bring a guitar. You're not
Or
playing
like-
There's a
for
radio
us?"
station across.
You're like, this is a
So-
podcast, right?
Yeah, I was like, we're talking. Like, I can send you some tracks like via email really quick that you can just play on the air if
Yeah.
you want. But yeah, so no, thank you for not making us play because this
No.
is much preferable.
No, I know. This is just we're just over here bullshitting. But it's not a secret. I'm a fan of you guys, and I love what you guys do, and you guys are amazing. I rock you guys in my truck all the time.
Hell yeah.
And is there anything else you guys want to say, or?
See
Thank you
on
for
the-
remembering us over these years.
Yeah, there you
Of
go, yeah.
complete radio
Probably like
silence.
I'm like fangirling over here. Is that what it says? Is that what it says? Is that what it is? Fangirl
Yeah.
or girl fanning?
Fangirling. Fangirling. Girl fanning.
I'm a Garber fan.
I guess both of them work.
Girl.
Girl fanning is what
if-
fangirls
if
do.
you got fangirls, they're girl fanning over you. You know what I'm saying?
That's true,
Just-
that's true. You guys, aren't you guys hot?
No.
I'm so hot.
These two,
Well,
especially
on
Euro
that
boy over
note-
here.
on that note, usually after I sign us out, someone has to say peace because that's what my body does, and someone's got to say it. Who's gonna say it?
Riley.
Oh boy,
Okay,
So wait, pressure's on. I have to say.
especially
I have
with
to
that,
say what?
with that attitude.
What am I saying?
Peace.
Just like, could you spell it for me? I need to make sure I've
you
got
type
this
it out
right.
for me.
Can you just open Microsoft Word or something? Type it out for me, please.
If you
I need to-
fucking say
I need a
peas at the end of
teleprompter.
this, I'm gonna be pissed.
Before we go, we'd like to say a big shout out to our sponsors. Our sponsor, Happiest Cbd, and go to happiestmed.com. Type the word Beehive for 10% off on all your fixings. Everybody here in the Beehive uses this product. It's workplace safe, so I use it. I use the roll on. Brian uses the sleep. Justin uses the sleep, and I use the suppositories. But anyway, just kidding. Anyway, until next time, take care of yourselves out there, and we will see you on the other side of the Beehive.
Peace.